You're on.
Okay. Good morning. I'd like to call to order the Selectmens Meeting of Monday, August, this is not Monday, August 6th, Tuesday, September 10th. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Chip, could you see the flag? Here it is.
You getting sound?
Got it.
Good. Okay. Let's see, public input.
That would be us.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Just for the record, please state your name and
Stephen Fusco, 192 Mountain Road, 171.
very good.
Start?
Sure.
All right.
Sure. What can we do for you?
Essentially, we're just here, this is very brief for us. We wanted to, I guess, counter or rebut the Vanessa Vidum meeting 2 weeks ago, or two meetings ago, for the town regarding this motocross track issue that's been going on for a while. Obviously, you know about it and you know the BTLA rulings, but what we wanted to do was just simply provide, we're going to leave you the information with just a little input as to increased development of the size of the track, the increased development of use, I guess, and propensity of use. So it has increased since that time. I guess you guys said, it's your property, you can use it as you see fit. However, we feel from a zoning perspective that it has gone way beyond that. And we have photos and posts from Mr. Vidum himself, Jim Vidum himself, stating, and we will leave these copies with you, that this is open to the public, this is open for anyone to come and ride, come on down. I mean, there's multiple, posts on Facebook regarding that, and we've recorded video-wise and, sound on those days. So it has changed, it has grown, it's gotten bigger. We don't see it getting smaller or stopping unless there is a zoning change that is needed, or however that works. I don't know how you feel about this, but we feel like we live in a low density residential area. There's a lot of homes now. We've been there 19 years, and this just started 4 years ago. So 4 years ago, we've been dealing with the increase in noise and traffic, and basically we can show you harassment from these folks against us. And we wanted to make it known, finally, publicly. We've reported it to the noise to the police in the past, but since a recent court settlement, which really isn't a settlement, it's still with prejudice, so it can be reopened at any point. We in that court order that was given, allowing him to ride 3 days, or allowing me to ride 3 days a week, also has been violated multiple times, which we've recorded and documented. So.
And called Vanessa.
And called Vanessa. And first, we called Vanessa first to, say, look, we have an order here, and
We
we're
need
not
help.
stop. And she, in all fairness, she has gone there and told Jim to just, cut it out. So, that's where we are at this point. We wanted to let you know that this has it's gotten bigger. They're actually clearing more this past weekend. They're going, whatever it is, farther west, I guess you could say. So there's excavators.
We have posts for that online saying he's expanding the track and renovating.
Excuse me, what is your name?
Anita Fusco.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, we have a post from him on Facebook saying that, okay, so he can't use this property of Holmes that's, next door. So he'll just, once again, go about this on his own and change the track and the writing and et cetera.
Make no mistake, this is not a trail anymore.
Yeah, I guess that's part of the reason that we're here is just because it was called.
Yeah, I mean, when you bring in heavy equipment to clear, Roe McIntyre. Address? 8 Canaan Road. Thank you. When you bring in heavy equipment to make large amounts of clearing on a property, that isn't a track. I mean, that isn't a simple track. It is been maintained for the last 4 years. It's been expanded. It's been widened. The use has increased where I'm across the street from where Steve and Anita are. They're coming down past the power lines, past on our property. Can't keep them off. And it's like every Thursday I shut myself down. I cannot walk my property line or the power lines on my property simply because there is unlimited use on my property now. I cannot keep them off. I could probably barricade it, but I do have to allow use because it is part of the easement for the power company. If I brought in an excavator to clear parts of my land, that isn't a simple situation for kids. That is a major.
Yeah, it's a building project.
Yeah, it is a building project.
Yeah.
And all the posts that are on there that's saying this is for the kids, there's another side of this with a kid who has a disability, and that's our kid. We abut that property. That property, that track is literally abuts our garden, or at least it used to now, according to what's going on. But it's still that property and our property. And my autistic son is highly affected by noise, and we don't like using that. And Nita's never posted that or rebutted
No, I have
anybody.
posted it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
Yes,
it's an issue for us, and it's a health issue for him, and it forces us out of the house. We literally have to get in our car and leave.
Well, not always. Sometimes I just close windows and shut everything down, and he'll either put in earplugs or put on headphones. So, a lot of times there's a card played of how great this track is for the community, how great it is for the kids. And, we have nothing against the sport, and I totally agree with that. But it's not great for everybody. And, I guess every situation is different, but there is a human side to this for us, and that is that it dramatically changed our life and the use of our property, and we're just here standing up for ourselves and for what is best for our family, because we feel like that is also fair, and our voice should be heard. Every time we speak up, every time we say something, we pay a huge price for that in our community. And I think that...
And you'll get copies of the posts.
Yeah.
You would consider them, if it was your children and your family, you consider it pretty threatening. And it's you feel unsafe in your own house.
Right, it's if you say something and they're gonna shut down the track, the next comment is usually, well, then we'll just start shooting guns or open up a gun range or, those kinds of things. And, I guess, we're just here to sort of...
State our case.
Yeah.
Show, prove with photographs.
So
There's been big changes.
And there's changes right now.
the
There's construction
expansion,
going on right now.
is that towards 171?
It is, yes.
Towards 171, okay.
Yeah. Yeah, it's going up the hill and yeah, I guess he's talking, according to the post, he's talking about parking on what,
Mark Bishop's property.
Mark Bishop's property.
If he's got permission, then, well, that's fine.
Well, I'm just saying, that's what he said.
Mark Bishop came to me when this first started and said, what's going on here? I don't like this. So I don't know what their agreement is. If they have an agreement, that's
And where is
beyond the
Bishop's
scope.
property?
It abuts it on the other side of 171.
So it's 192 is us, 196 is Jim Vidum, and then 214 is Mark Bishop. So it's the third, it's in between. So that's what, that's where we are. I don't know what to say other than that, and that, you know, for the last 4 years, this has affected us pretty hard. And not just us. I mean, we had 35 people sign a petition. We gave that guys, to, you know, that to you guys some years back.
Of close neighbors,
Close neighbors,
Yeah.
not just like, you know, somebody,
friends in town.
Right.
Yeah.
and the riders that are coming in, they're not from Tufton Borough.
That's just it. All of a sudden now we have an influx. I mean, you look at the license plates on any Saturday of who's parked out there. It's not bringing commerce into the community. It's not bringing camaraderie into the community. It's just bringing in people who want to use the track, which I appreciate. You know, everybody's got their own interests, but they do it at the detriment of the people that already.
So when was the last time the most recent time the track was used?
Saturday.
So they can operate it on Wednesday, Thursday,
No,
Saturday.
no. On the Holmes property,
Oh.
they can't operate it at all.
Oh, well, that's definitely happening.
Okay.
But that's not for us to police or,
No. I just wanted to, I mean, we can't be out there every day, so you live there.
yes. Yeah, I mean, they're using the track. in
Because
its
we did
entirety.
vote to have a cease and desist on the Holmes property.
Correct, yeah.
So I don't know if that's been violated. Obviously, it must have been violated if they're out there racing the other day.
They ride every day they can,
Yeah,
so.
okay.
When they have time, I mean, whoever goes. I mean, we only document now the violations that are happening regarding the court order that was presented.
Well, we still haven't heard back from the Bureau of Tax and Land Appeals about the usage of current use property for this purposes.
Okay.
I don't know if we will hear back. I'm sure we will hear back at some point, but we weren't at the meeting with Vanessa. I thought we made it pretty clear that we hadn't changed any of the decision we made about their
We
property.
saw, we watched the whole meeting review.
But Holmes is a totally different animal,
Mhm.
so.
And we're not talking about Mr. Holmes anymore. We're just saying we know what's going to happen. This will keep expanding and growing just on the Vidum property. Because that's what is. And that's conjecture maybe, because it's
Well,
up
it's
to you
based on
guys.
empirical knowledge. It has already happened. And he said it wouldn't. I mean, a year ago, he said this is it, and then now all of a sudden, it is not. So it
Yeah,
appears.
it was our understanding that the initial, okay for the track, was to be Vidum, a few friends, and,
And no major improvements like jumps.
right, that
Mounds.
it was to use it as it
Moving.
was. And, you know, they've worked on it continuously. Granted, now they have like seeded the area and it looks greener. It's not such a scar on the property anymore. But the track is still exactly the same size. And it certainly didn't change the noise at all. It's just that the aerial shot looks a little prettier. So, you know, you can't see the whole trail because some of the trees obscure it now. But the track is still the same.
I mean, if
It
this
is a racetrack that is full scale and maybe slightly smaller. Someone will call me on that. So, but it has all the bells and whistles that every other motocross racetrack has. You know, the tight turns, the jumps, the the straight out rev up kind of stuff. It has all of that, like every other track does. So they call it a practice track. because no one wants to say it's a racetrack. But it is common sense that it is a full-blown racetrack. It's not a path that goes through the woods. It's not like snowmobiles that drive by your house in the middle of winter and they're gone. It is motocross bikes that aren't even allowed on the roads because they're so loud, that just go round and round and round in a circle behind your house. And true, there are a few less people this year than there has been in the past, but that's what Jim Vidum is complaining about. If anybody asks if they can ride, he says, yes, absolutely, let's go, come on over. This is an open to the public racetrack.
With their permission, obviously, but
Yeah, I mean, I suppose he
Right.
could, yes.
you could say,
Well, right,
right.
yeah.
So, is there more that you wanted to say? Because I know you had a lot going on last night.
Yeah, I do.
'Cause we don't want to take a lot of time.
Well, you know that we made our past decisions based on our interpretation of zoning and the evidence presented. You mentioned something earlier about zoning change. If you wanted to affect a zoning change, I think your only avenue is to have a petition warrant article brought before the voter. And if the town, as the legislative body of the town, wants to change the zoning, that's an option.
Well, isn't it the zoning, isn't it the person who's actually building something, the one who has to apply for a zoning variance? Because it's zoned low residential, low density residential, correct?
I
Yeah.
believe it is.
So
You can't do retroactive.
in order to
No.
do
No.
commercial,
That's,
because that would be a commercial thing,
they need to go
they
to
need to go
the
to the
ZBA,
ZBA.
right.
I mean,
But the claim is, and is that there's no money changing hands. So,
We don't even care about that.
no, I know you don't, but there's no
You-
way that we
right.
can say, okay, it's a commercial operation, you have to go to the ZBA if there's no money changing hands, so.
Yeah, no, as far as we know, they're not a business, but,
but they, they obviously
takes donations,
sold T-shirts and
yes.
things like that, so I don't know if that constitutes anything, but
Takes donations, et cetera.
well, if it looks like a duck and
If there's
walks like a duck, it's a duck.
Well, there, yeah. That's all gonna be hearsay, so.
So
No, I mean, I think, we weren't here to change zoning laws. We feel like the laws that are in place have been violated. That at every turn, they have, the Vidums have missed the opportunity to go get the permits that they should, to be upfront about this property and what they're actually doing there. And they have not done that. They are constantly, calling it one thing and doing something else instead of coming before the boards and getting permits for the construction that's going on right now. I mean, there are like heavy dozers, heavy equipment over there right
well, there's
now.
a backhoe and a
Backhoe.
water truck.
Well,
the
backhoes,
water
heavy
truck's been there
equipment,
for a while, so.
yes.
Yeah. Well, that keeps the dust down, and sometimes
Well, it doesn't run.
doesn't
so-
really keep the dust down, and we end up having a barbecue out in the back in a dust cloud. So,
Right, but right now they're doing heavy equipment construction on the track, and as far as we know, they don't chase any of the permits for that, or talk to the right people that, to get that done. So, mostly we're just here to say, call it what it is, and, be upfront about what you're doing, and,
do you have the papers that you want to give them? Is this,
no. Oh, it's right here. So I made a copy of just the very last post, obviously, then. Yeah. So here's what the construction on the track and the looked like as they were constructing it. Here's the picture they're posting on Facebook now. And, you know, I mean, obviously, that's the trail that abuts our property with the jumps.
Just give it all to him.
Yeah, so I'll just leave this with you. You can look through it on your own leisure.
Great, thanks.
It is what it is,
Yeah.
so.
You know, we've been approached by numerous neighbors over the past few years. And we just figured we need to finally stand up and say, this is what it is. Because we've paid our price for the last 4 years, emotionally, physically, with our, son. So we're just looking for some help. We're looking for some relief. And whatever the answer is, the answer is. But we would prefer to go a cease and desist on that property too. But that's your call. Well, that's it.
Thanks
Okay.
for coming in.
Thanks.
Thank you.
All right, thank you for coming in.
This is how many posts over 4 years.
Thank you. Have a good rest of your day.
You too.
You too.
Approval of minutes, do you want to, where are we? 9:25 already, we're not too far. Let's get this out of the way. We have a couple of minutes to approve. Monday, August 26th, 2024. Other than content-wise, I didn't find anything awry, few spelling errors, but other than that, I think these minutes are acceptable. And
I got a change on the front page.
yep,
On the webpage?
Front page,
Okay.
last sentence, or second to last sentence. Wants to err on the side of caution, but need, put an S on that, to solicit, not solicitate, which I'm not even sure that solicitate is a word. And I think the last page, under Selectmen Albee, second to last sentence, says that he wants Melvin Wharf to go due to usage. I think I meant go first. I don't want to just get rid of Melvin Wharf. So that's it for me. I'll make a motion to accept them as corrected.
I'll second. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay, thank you. And non-public minutes of August 26th.
1, 2,
2024.
3. Fourth paragraph down, first sentence. Employee has 2 E's. And did not represent the town well. I think we need to change that to what it was, did not represent himself well. And third sentence down, Primex to determine the options, plural, available. And don't give me the minutes so early, I won't read them next time, I won't have any of these.
Is that a motion?
I'll make a motion to accept that this is corrected.
I'll second. All those in favor?
Aye.
And tax collector.
Pleases me that you nitpick in the minutes.
Wait till I see the minutes about you.
Well, that's fine, that's fine. I've seen minutes that looked over and nothing changed and they were wrong. Not for me, but just in general,
'Cause I don't generally read them.
you know.
I try not to nitpick too much on spelling errors,
No, it's not.
as long as the content is correct.
Well,
Right,
should we
but-
let Melvin Wharf go? I mean, maybe I
No,
would.
I'm glad
No.
you did it.
Okay,
I'm
just
glad you did it.
asking.
Okay, I've got a few things here. One is, I have a copy for all three of you. This particular property at North Country Village, as you can see, the town's had a lien on the property since 2020. That means it was 2019 taxes have not been paid. I'd like to have it off the books. I
Have the
know
subsequent taxes been paid?
nothing's been paid since 2018.
Oh, so the $3,600 is the,
Yeah.
okay.
I know that traditionally the town doesn't like to take property there or other places where there's an association because they might have to pay, the town might have to pay association dues. This is a piece of property that, usually when something comes up on this at North Country Village, the lady that was always very helpful, they started their process of foreclosing. So we got the money. But during COVID, they applied for money relief and this guy's association dues and everything got paid. And I've written a letter to the president. He has not gotten back to me, which I understand is not unusual, asking if he's done anything in the last year and a half towards this property. This person, second name there, Nicholas, is not interested. Nobody lives there. Nobody's lived there since. He has aunts in town that he's done with it. He doesn't want.
So this
to be part of
property
it.
didn't get included in that COVID relief money you were just talking
It
about?
did, for
So-
their association dues.
Oh, but it didn't pay the taxes.
Right, they don't care if his taxes are paid or not. So, I'm thinking that maybe I don't know, if the selectmen sent a certified letter to the president of North Country Village and tried to figure out some details of when was the last time are they gonna foreclose, are they doing anything with this property? Because I can't find out anything. He doesn't respond to anything I sent him. I think you can take it by deed. And you probably could get rid of it quick, so you wouldn't have to pay association dues. I don't know, but it's something that it's the only thing that's on our books for years, and let's clean up so.
Well, I don't know maybe we should send our friend Jack down to just see what the condition of it is. I mean, is it saleable?
Well,
I mean, because
Nobody lives in it?
no, it's never lived in it since his father died.
which was when, 2020 or?
No, in
2018.
2018, well, before,
So it's been sitting vacant for
yes.
5, 6
Yes.
6 years, better part of 6 years.
So it could be just a
No, it's
a
not,
demolition.
right, but that wouldn't be, you could sell it
So
for
it is,
no
it is,
money.
yeah.
It's, the taxes, what's owed, $3,700. Get your money back with that, I would think. But,
I would hope so. I don't know what the conditions for buying in there are. If the association has to approve you or whatever that is.
Or we could be buying a turd,
yeah,
an unsellable turd.
well, it's just to lease the land in there is worth something for somebody. There was another one in there, but she got rid of it, that burned and set, and they got tended to, somebody bought it.
So, do they own the lot that it's sitting on?
No,
No.
North Country Village does.
Right, so there's no real estate value.
The building only.
It's just the
Right.
building.
Right. And
So-
amenities, right. So my thing is, I think we should go through the president of North Country Village first.
Right.
But he's not
responsive.
right. And I think if the selectmen sent him a letter and said, I can scratch it out. They sign it, send it certified, and tell him that you want an answer.
Right.
Because he's ignoring me when I send him an email and a letter. And my understanding is that's typical.
But they did take COVID money to pay the lot rental on this property. Okay.
My
So
understanding
they
is
have
they
more
did.
commitment to it than
For
we
any back rent. We don't know if the rent is current.
Right, I don't, that's what I'm trying to find out. Is he up to date with the association fees? Or has he not paid in 2-3 years? And if he hasn't paid, what are you doing about it? In the past, they were right on things like that and said, okay, if you don't come forward with all your money you owe us, we're foreclosing on such and such a date. And we'd get our money, they'd get their money, and whatever.
I don't know, Mike.
I don't think this is anything that we want to get involved with.
Well, I don't mind writing a letter to the park, but I think at the end of the day, I think you need to look at what sort of process it is to just write $3,600 off and walk away. I just don't know how we can, if there's no real estate involved and it's just a trailer that's been abandoned for 10 years.
Right.
I don't know how we can recoup our value or our taxes.
I don't either.
I mean, I think it's just,
We can't just keep carrying it for 20 years
Yeah.
or whatever, so
Yeah.
I think. we need to-
Let's just move forward with a letter. Let's move forward with a letter.
yeah, sounds good.
And we'll take it from there. But maybe he will respond to the selectmen.
Who's going to construct the letter?
I can scratch out a letter and,
I can write
Yeah.
Jackie on it.
yeah,
Yeah. And then we just sign it.
right.
I'll
So
drive by and see what condition it's in.
certified.
Yeah, that would be
Just to say,
nice.
you know,
Because if it's,
19 Fir Tree Lane, Jack.
Yeah,
I can't, I mean, we don't even know if the place is winterized.
correct.
Oh, I
No,
mean, yeah.
that's why we have
I
Jack.
see what you're saying.
Yeah.
so he can say,
I can
"Ugh."
only see as much as I can see now.
From the outside, you can't see the inside.
Right.
Yeah,
Well, you could tell if it hadn't been winterized since 2018, then there might be water places.
Yeah,
along
does it
those.
even have an electric meter on the side of the building?
Oh, I'm sure it does. Whatever.
all right. Sounds
Okay,
good.
that's one.
I don't want to
There's
end
more
up
than one?
taking it.
There's 3.
Holy Toledo.
Okay. The other, second thing is Toledo's Road. On Dame Road, there's a trailer that's, the town has a welfare lien on, that was put on there in 2008. And I think it was probably medicine or something like that, because both people that lived there were elderly and not well. They both had passed away by 2011. The executor of the estate sold the property to clear everything out and close the probate. At that time, the welfare lien did not get paid off. It has now been sold twice, and it's either getting ready to sell the third time or they're applying for a bank loan. It's just a trailer, it's on a piece of land with a trailer. You can't get blood out of a stone. So, and these people are deceased, it's $1,700 that the lien was. I would suggest that you release the lien. You'll never get your money. How are you gonna get your money? Both people have died.
No, it's not, the lien isn't against the people.
It's on the property.
It's on the property.
Right,
So just because 3 sales have gone through and nobody's bothered to do a title search on this particular lien, doesn't mean that the lien is extinguished.
why can't you extinguish the lien?
Well, I'm
To make
wondering why we
everything clear.
should.
Why? Because I don't think it's up to the people who own it now to have
Why?
to pay this debt,
It is a debt against the property.
okay?
That's,
Well,
I mean, that's how it works.
That's your opinion.
No, that's how it works. We don't have a debt against the people.
Lots of people rent in this town and come in and get help,
Yeah.
and there's no
Right, 'cause
lien put on the property.
There's
and
no,
it gets-
right, they
gets-
don't have any interest in the property.
Right, I know that. But I'm saying just,
Has anybody talked to the buyer or the buyer's attorney?
I have a couple times.
And what are they saying?
They would like the lien cleared out. They don't.
Of course they would.
Of course they would, because they don't have to pay it.
Because
Why wouldn't
I'm
they?
not gonna go after the two owners that have owned it since then. They probably got paid cash for the property because it wasn't a big value.
Well, obviously, if these people are getting a bank loan, the other people are paid cash, they don't have to worry about a title search. But if these people are trying to get a loan on this trailer, the bank is
Property.
property. The bank is gonna want free and clear title. So the seller gets $1,700 less money than they would have gotten, and the town is made whole. That's my position. I mean, I don't,
I just think it's $1,700 is not gonna.
I know, but it's, why bother putting liens on property then if we're gonna do it that way?
We've always gotten paid for everything.
I know.
As far as long as I've been around, for
Yeah.
when something got sold. And I think the executor was somebody that was appointed by somebody, because it wasn't even they had no family or anything, so,
And it was probably a cash sale,
yeah,
so there's no,
right, no title.
title
Didn't have to do
search and all the
anything,
rest of it.
so.
I mean, I don't know, we can vote. You wanna just,
You don't have to make this right now, but before
Okay.
the day's over.
Well, no reason not to right now. I mean,
Yeah, no, deal with it.
I totally get what you're saying, but in principle, I agree with Chip. It's something that, it's on the table. We shouldn't leave it on the table if we don't have to. And it sounds like we don't have to. The mortgage company will pursue it if they can't get a clear title. They'll do the work for us. We don't have to do anything if they want clear title. Right?
yeah, they gotta pay the liens off. I mean, let's say it's not the town, let's say it's our friend the plumber, and the plumber didn't get paid, and he goes to district court and he gets a lien on the property. And just because it's been a cash sale for 3 or 4 transactions, he still
12
didn't.
years.
12 years. He didn't get, still hasn't gotten paid. He's still out the money.
Probably write it off at this point.
Yeah, this is something that we can collect on. Unlike the one that you just showed us a few minutes ago, that's something that even though it's twice the money, we don't have an interest in.
The benefits
trailer.
don't outweigh
No,
the
absolutely
the
not.
cost. Whereas in this particular case,
Yeah,
it's not a lot of money, but that's not the point. The point is the principle and the legality.
I
Yeah,
told the attorney I talked to you
yeah.
today, that's why.
It comes down to principle.
And I don't.
Just like I feel about dump stickers, it comes down to principle.
No, it's always about the money.
It's not the money.
Really? I don't know why you have to deal with it anyway. Just saying, because it's a welfare lien.
Audrey talked to you about it in June, and
She did.
yeah, and
Same result.
All right.
and then right,
And-
I
and
said,
we didn't
I
do
told the
anything.
attorney, I said, well, I'll
Okay.
Yeah,
do it again and see what's.
I know in this job that you can't make everybody happy all the time.
What?
Yep.
I mean, we're
Just
certainly
can't do
open
it.
to negotiations, but we want to get the lien paid. So if for some reason they can't come up with
Talk to
$1,700
us tomorrow, whatever.
I don't think a vote's
Is
necessary.
was there a third?
Yeah, there is some third. Are you finished with this one?
Yep.
Yeah.
You've made your decision, okay. And the third one is the piece of property concerning Alex Hunt and the Patricia Hodgson. Last March or whatever, he sold a 6-acre property, Hodgson sold their 6-acre parcel of backland to Alex Hunt. And it's a separate lot of record from where the house was. It was 2 deeds. Rayburn Hodgson bought his house lot in 1956, and then in 1960 he bought a piece of backland. And in those days, if you owned two pieces and they were somewhat together, the town did an involuntary merger for tax purposes. So they'd get one tax bill. And they've gotten one tax bill all these years. So in the meantime, they've sold the backland to Alex Hunt, who was in a butter. And, but the town selectmen did not want to tax it as a separate lot for Alex. So the orange one is Alex Hunt, the green one is Hodgson, and the blue one is the
That
one that
lot.
Hunt bought. So the blue one should have a separate tax ID and get taxed for that separately.
Yeah, having,
In the past, the green one it was added to the green one's taxes, the backland. And you can see that it was just a little corner that abutted each, and now it's a better boundary between the blue and the orange.
That made it a contiguous lot.
A little bit, because the green one took out a corner of the stone wall so he could get through to his back lot.
So selling the property to Alex made it a non-contiguous lot.
No, it's now contiguous to the orange one.
Well, there's a boundary there.
Yep.
So that's
right.
what he needs to do, is just have that boundary removed.
and yet,
There's other options.
right, because I did read pretty extensively the law on this involuntary merger business and all of that. And we do have to recognize this as a separate lot. But that doesn't change the ability for him to use the separate lot for anything other than a lot. It has no road frontage. So if he wants to merge it with the orange lot, that's fine, and now he's got a bigger lot. If he wants to keep this as a separate lot and put something on it, he needs to have access through his orange lot.
Deeded right away.
Right,
Yeah,
that's
a deed
right.
of right of way.
That's right.
So he has to go through the planning board and all of that.
Right,
for that.
right. He could do an easement through the orange into the blue. And so I guess what I'm asking right now is because the green one paid the June taxes because they didn't know the difference, basically. So I'd like to have the blue one put as a separate lot of record, which it can be, as it is now. And if Alex was gonna do anything different with that lot, then he has to have a deeded right of way or a merger or whatever.
Or merger.
Right, so,
I mean, I was with Bob's initial statement when we started this, of saying, no, we don't create landlocked piece of property.
Right.
But then after reading, I guess it happens all the time,
yeah,
in these little towns, there are landlocked pieces that have been involuntarily merged, and this is a solution. So it still remains a lot, in spite of
So-
our misgivings.
right. So if you would be so declined to decide that was a separate lot of record, just put a little bit in writing so that Rod can put a property ID number and it'll be a separate tax bill.
Do we have to,
I think I'll make a motion that we allow this to be a separate lot of record.
a second for discussion? Because I have a question. If we do that, do we have to put a note on the letter that says that if he chose to build on it, that he would have to either do one of those two things?
I think that's what we have Jack for. Or
Right, I think he knows that.
Yeah,
Okay.
He knows that.
yeah. I mean, you can't put
You can
condominiums.
build on
So-
it, just can't become a residence.
Right, right.
It can be residential use, but not
Right.
residence.
Right, it can't rent it out.
Access, correct.
And
Right.
you'd have to go through
Just a
some process to also build on it anyway, right?
Yeah, building permit, I think, but it can be built upon he can build a barn there or something like that. Residential use only, nothing commercial, and no house, no
Right.
occupation.
Right, if he merges it, he can build
He
another
can't
house
build
there.
a house, correct, yeah.
But that's Alex's.
You can't build a house on it
question.
now,
right,
without access.
right.
Right.
Well, the law is actually, he can build a house, but he can't occupy it without access.
So there is an avenue to do this.
Yeah.
Correct,
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah.
He could, yeah, do it.
Okay. I was perhaps incorrectly under the understanding that you couldn't create a,
It's not creating, it already exists.
because it already exists. Okay. Well, no, it didn't, because it
was
was
merged.
attached, because it was attached to the Hodgson lot before. So by selling it
was
off,
an involuntary merger.
Right,
They did a lot of them.
It was two
They
lots
did them on
of
the lakes a
record.
lot too.
yeah. It existed prior to
Because people used
1956.
it as one, they automatically merged them, but the state came out with a rule that anything that was involuntary merged, you had to release it.
Right. I was wrong. I'm glad to see that you've admitted you were wrong. My motion
I can be
stands.
convinced. I just want to make sure that there's an avenue to do
So what's
this. I
the
don't want,
actual motion?
I don't want to do anything illegal.
So what's the actual motion?
Really?
No, that's, right.
The actual motion that I made was to allow the tax
Assessor.
assessor to create a tax lot number for this particular lot.
Okay.
Which
And it's been
has no
seconded.
tax and lot number, so I can't adequately describe it.
Any further discussion?
No.
All those in favor?
Aye. Take that out of here.
Okay,
Okay,
I think that's all.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Good job, 1 out of 2.
That's all right. I
Yeah.
have more to think about.
Okay,
Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning. So, 122 building permits, 38 new houses. I've done 35 certificates, and I've done 575 inspections
That's all year to date.
year to date.
It's pretty impressive.
Last year I did little north of 800.
do we, I'm sorry, can I ask a quick question? So I know one of those multi-million-dollar house building permits involved taking down an old house.
Correct.
Do we get money for permit purchases for the tear down?
For demolition now, it's just a
Okay.
record out, and it goes to Rod, so it comes off the books as old and goes back on as new. So what happens with that though, sometimes if it's torn down now, and the new ones just started, like in the spring, let's say, so you lose a year of income because it's the
Yeah.
April 1st thing, or what's done, so. But, yeah. Yeah, out of the 38, it's probably, I want to say this year, 9 replacements, tear downs, and back up. So there's still quite a few to go.
Yeah. Any affordable housing going in?
Depends on what your income is, I guess.
What you consider
Yeah,
affordable?
exactly.
So on the exhaust vent for the bathroom and the police, it was a plastic hood on the outside. They
Yeah, I
got
saw them
broken out.
replace that.
And so we replaced it with a galvanized one. So the birds are actually in there, and they ripped the hose. They put the nest inside the fan. And,
Damn birds.
I know. So that's all been fixed. So
Yeah. Did they get rid of the birds?
yeah, he cleaned them out. They weren't in there; they were out. But
No, I mean, the whole property. Let's get those birds out of there.
yeah. That's all I have.
Police station.
Yeah.
Where do we go from here? We have a bid package that's ready to,
Well, there's individual
put out.
packages.
Individual,
right?
yeah.
You just gotta figure out who you're gonna send it to.
Okay.
We don't wanna post them. And if you're gonna do an RFP or something, but someone has to write it out, and I don't have a lot of time to do that, so.
yeah, I mean,
See what other stuff I got going on.
I can work on an RFP.
Yeah, so I don't know if you wanna do stuff like that, but yeah, he sent in the package, I finally get a Google thing, so I can actually open it, so.
So you haven't got,
I have it.
we have it, but we don't,
We have it, but,
It's
you
not
know, you
correct.
gotta,
all right.
most likely you send it out to the people, you know, electronically and not have to print it out.
We can put it out there publicly,
Correct.
but we can also direct solicit,
You can, yeah.
as long as we're doing both at the same time.
Right. Because, you know, I don't know, you got the answer through Phil and on about the grant through the town managing their own project, so.
Yeah.
He was looking into that, I don't know how far that went.
From, if I recall correctly, correct me if I'm wrong, I think that it's plausible. We can
Yeah.
do it as long as we have
The problem with that.
a professional.
The paperwork is unbelievable, you have no idea.
And we will lose folks as a result, I think.
Correct, because
Contract.
you're gonna have to let them know that they're gonna have to do a little bit more than they would if it was a company managing it, because they do a lot of paperwork. You're gonna have to kind of farm it out to the people doing the work. They're gonna do some of their own paperwork. I mean, just the pellet boiler downstairs here was a grant, and the paperwork for a 3-day project was unbelievable. And the management was 3 years after the fact.
So, do you think, this is probably a loaded question, that if we dropped the grant,
I don't think you'd
number one,
save enough money to cover it.
You don't think so?
you,
Not losing 300, whatever it is.
you don't think we could build it for what we have without the grant?
It depends on what was spec'd out in it for.
I won't hold
We
you
don't
to
have to
it.
drop the grant until we run out of money,
Essentially,
Yeah, but you still
right?
have to do all the paperwork to get there,
right?
because you have to hold on to it. So even if you start, I mean, obviously, I know you have to use the town's money first, and the grant's the end money.
Right.
But you still have to do all the paperwork up to that point, so you might as well use their money. Doesn't make sense not to, you're gonna go that route, because if you keep it and hold on to it, you have to do the paperwork all the way up through. So if you're doing the paperwork all the way up through, it's like, you know,
Right.
So is
We're either
there-
doing it or we're not.
right.
Can we ask Phil to get us a copy of what this paperwork amounts to? So we can have a list of items that need to be done? Because maybe we can get some of it done in-house versus making the contractor do it all.
Yeah, well, you're gonna have to do some in-house, because some is the
Yeah.
manager does it, and then
Yeah,
This grant is
But
going
it's
to be
just-
an albatross.
it's just a.
It's an albatross.
It is.
I
It's-
agree.
It's just.
I agree.
You have to record the hours of who
Yep.
showed up,
Nope,
when they
it's-
showed. I did it with,
it
there was
is
3
not-
people working on it, and it took.
We will be right back to square one if we go to contractors with this. We will be right back to square one. We will have wasted all of the money that we spent to reconfigure the police station so that it could be more affordable. Will be lost because of the albatross of the grant.
then what's the solution?
Drop the grant.
Drop the grant.
Just get the paperwork
Build it
out
for
there,
what we
all
have.
this, what the specs are on, the plans on it, and just send that out as a package and see if
Yeah.
you can get someone to.
Get
buy
some
it.
costs.
Yeah.
We need to get some costs, see if we can do it for what we
Just
have
just
or
on the
near.
whole package, and if you want one company that's gonna sub it out to their own people, try that.
I think that's a
Well,
really
we
step
tried
forward.
that.
No, you didn't.
No, we
You
did it
went
with-
through a project manager always,
Right.
Right, but that's essentially
because you're using the grant.
a company that,
Now, there's a difference between a
Just
project
subbing out.
manager and a general contractor.
Correct.
The project manager will handle everything. They'll do the grant work. General contractor's probably not going to be interested in doing the grant work, but they can
Right.
do it for
But
less
they'll do the
money.
project.
They'll do
You know,
they can do
that's
the whole
all.
project,
Yeah.
and likely for less money than a project manager would do.
well, that's $150,000 off the loss of the grant. Because that's what
And this isn't a
that was the
nursing.
portion of the,
Project manager company was
Right.
150, correct?
right,
Yeah.
so now you're $200,000 in the hole. Is there $200,000 that we don't know until we get some
You
more
don't know until
pricing.
you get
All
some
right,
numbers from.
Right. But I think we need to put it out as a package and see what the numbers come back at.
Right.
But we have to let them know that if we're gonna be doing this with or without the grant. And my feeling is to put it out on the street without the grant.
let who know.
that any general contractors, any prospective bidders, because that's going to make a difference in the quality of the general contractor, the respondents that we get, I should say.
Right.
And it's gonna change the price.
And it's going to change the price. Yeah.
All that money for the paperwork on top of it.
You know, if we put it out there with the grant attached to it, people are going to look at it and say, "No, I got better things to do."
Right.
But if you put it out like we're trying to build a house, this is not a nursing home. This is a house.
Right.
It's 3,800 square feet. It's a house.
Yeah.
Right.
It's a house with a.
So there's no way to just
Yeah.
put it out there as it's spec'd
As it's spec'd,
and just get pricing on building.
Yep.
correct,
That's all we need.
correct.
Okay, then let's do that.
And I can work on the RFP.
Yeah, and just let's assume we're not using the grant.
Right. Yeah, just get a number back.
Because that's
Right.
that's going to be the lowest number we can possibly get.
It is.
So let's say we come back and we're $200,000 away from having it done at that number. We're not going to get it done this fall anyway. We can get parts of it done, maybe the site work. But I'd be more than willing to run 200 grand past the audience in March, if that's what it comes down to. But we don't. Up until now, we've been way off the number.
Oh, yeah.
Correct.
Correct.
So,
Yep.
yeah, okay, I'm fine with that. Thanks.
All right.
Thanks, Jack.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Jack.
Next.
Steve Scapicchio, Conservation Commission. Good morning.
I got a map with what?
Okay, I'm gonna preface Steve's testimony with why I wanted to make sure he was coming in. We talked about the Sargent property. It's in here.
Yes.
And rather than dismiss our first right of refusal just out of hand, if you look at the property, there's a significant area or length of Melvin River that's involved in that property on the south border. There's also all of our test wells that are for the transfer station. Not all of them. There are test wells on the Sargent property. So my discussion with Steve, and then he went off to see Matt Young, was is there some way to carve out the wetlands in the Melvin River, which would give us almost all of the length of the Melvin River under conservation protection, and then also carve out that area around the transfer station that encompasses our test wells. My initial feeling on this was that we got a first right of refusal. Let's just say we're going to exercise it. We can always, at some point between now and town meeting, say, "All right, we changed our mind." We don't have to exercise it, but we certainly. And I don't know where Mr. Young came down on this question.
Are you all set? So I can tell you about my conversation with
Yeah,
Matt.
let's hear what Matt Young has to say.
So I did go see Matt. So what I gave you in front of you, the squiggly line that goes along the Melvin River is what I approached Matt with.
This one right here?
Yeah.
So that would
Okay.
give us protection all along the Melvin River within his property. And then the other line that is drawn up towards the top where the transfer station would be is what Chip and I had talked about, taking out of that for both possible solar installation, and that's where the test wells were. So I approached Matt with that, and my first conversation with Matt was, he was like, I'm open to it, but I have already invested $30,000 in engineering and surveying, so he would prefer not to do anything to change that and have to re-survey and engineering it. But he would be open with it. He's also not doing anything with the land and back, so if you kind of look at that line that goes across the power line, so he's not doing anything with that land and back. He'd be open to selling that to the town.
This whole
Yep.
piece,
Right.
this whole piece from
Yep.
that line down?
Yep. he'd be open to that. Or my last conversation with Matt was he'd be more than happy to give a conservation easement for all of the Melvin River at no cost to the town. He would also be willing to give an easement for the wells and the possible solar to no cost to the town. And he's willing to put that in a letter.
Why wouldn't we do that? What is the downside to that?
Yeah,
Well, again, this is the first Chip is here, and this is our conversation,
Right.
so.
right. I mean, that, my objective in this process of reviewing this is just to do the conservation protection and the well protection. If we gain a little area for solar, that's wonderful. So I think it would make it easier, I think, if Matt would write us a letter stating that, or putting a price on this section below the line. I don't know.
I'd be more than happy, but he seems to be more than willing to work with the town with whatever
Yeah.
we want, so.
But you would still need a conservation easement on this piece along the
He
river
has-
above
yeah.
the line.
You know, the way he says it's all wetlands, he couldn't do
Yeah.
anything with it anyhow,
Right.
so he has no problem with donating that to the town as a
Right.
conservation.
And he
easement.
can utilize that for commercial
And
purposes.
does the stump up extend down here, or is it all,
No, the
or is
stump
it's all
dump is-
primarily on
It's
the
all
top,
up here
up
above.
top?
The stump dump is over on the other side,
So it's all up here, right?
Yeah,
yeah,
So it's not part of this.
it's not part of this at all,
and it's not gonna adversely affect what he wants to do with the property.
that's correct.
Okay.
I mean, seems like a no-brainer, unless I'm missing something, that we take a conservation easement at no cost
Right.
and pass on the first right of refusal.
Yeah, you know, if we can come up with an agreement, then, I mean, we could still vote on the first right of refusal just because we're pushing up against the 16th of September. And then just,
I don't know how that would affect him though, if you're exercising your first right of refusal, that means he.
we
can
haven't
have-
exercised
I
it
know, but that's
until
what you're
town
talking
meeting.
about, right?
Yeah, I just don't want to get into a mess. So if we could get a letter prior to the 16th from Matt describing these two options,
I would not,
That
yeah,
would
I
be-
don't think there'd be a problem.
that'd
with
be
that.
perfect.
Yeah, I don't think.
Then we don't
there'd
have
be
to
a
worry
problem.
about it. But if it gets, I don't know.
This piece down here below the line, does that serve any benefit to conservation?
Well, you know, I've kind of mapped out the property that's around there, right? So my goal has always been to preserve as much of the Melvin River as that we can, right? It's a jewel. So, you know, by having that easement, it does protect all that Melvin River there,
Except for the Hersey piece.
except for the first of all. That's another thing I can work on, but that,
Right.
and we're already, the Williams lot, they're already talking to us about selling that not selling it, but we're gonna get grant money, ARM fund money to purchase that lot from the Williams, so that will become part of the Great Meadow.
And then you have the Brown lot.
The Brown lot, which we've reached out to a couple of times and have gotten no response from them at all. That's one, I know you don't like the word, but that's one of those landlocked
Right.
pieces of property that
Yeah.
has no access anywhere.
Right.
Well, it has, I mean, every lot has timber access, so
Yeah.
I don't know if there's any timber out there, but.
Well, there is. I mean, at the end of the, Williams, one of the delays on the Williams lot is that they went out and had it cut, logged, and they created a couple violations on wetlands. So the Williams are fixing that so that we can then move forward with the ARM. So that was the delay on that one. But we've been trying for a couple of years to reach out to the Browns. But if Matt is going to give us that easement along that river, that really protects a lot of the Melvin River.
Yeah,
Huge. That's huge in my book.
What do you recommend?
I'm recommending, at no cost to town, just go along with what Matt says.
The easements?
I'm sorry.
The easements?
Yeah, the easements.
so we'd still need to get some sort of survey work done.
Yep, he recognizes that, that would all have to be surveyed, and an easement is a deed, right? So it would have to be done. Yes, you're absolutely right, Chip.
Okay,
And I'm sure that we would have
so
to,
we need to,
we'd have to absorb that
Yeah,
cost,
I
wouldn't
yeah.
we?
but
If he's given us the easement, we would do the
We need
engineering.
to create the easement for him to give it to us.
Yeah.
So
I can work on that.
right, that's gonna take probably till next summer to get that done. But as long as we've got an agreement,
Yep.
I think.
Yeah, and then Matt specifically told me he's going to send a letter to the town to that fact,
Okay.
of what we had just talked about. Yeah, I'll be more than happy to call Matt up and say, yeah, I talked to you guys, and if he sends a letter, then we're all set.
Perfect.
Let's do it.
Yeah, and the sooner
Yeah.
we can get the letter, the better, because
I'll tell
I
him,
just
I'll
want,
tell him that we have to receive it by the 16th,
yeah, or prior to the 16th.
prior to the 16th.
Yeah.
Of September?
Yep. We have 30 days to exercise.
That's next week.
Well, that ends on the 16th of September,
Yeah.
so,
So you could do a motion based on acceptance of the letter.
Yeah, we'd have to make some decision today, because we're not meeting again before that.
Right.
okay, so we won't have a chance to review the letter before that.
One of you could review it. And
What's that, the authoritative tap?
Well, yeah.
I don't
mean,
mind doing it. Okay, we still need to make a vote, and I can't make that motion, so either you or David have to.
So, what would the motion, help me out here?
That you're gonna
you have the letter
designate.
inside the white envelope, so if you take out that letter, you all don't have it, it's just in that,
Oh,
yeah. So I think the last page of that would be a motion to sign that based on, I don't know if all three of you have to sign it, or if you want to give Chip authority based on the letter we received from Matt.
Well, pursuant to the terms of the right of first refusal contained in the quitclaim deed of Fred Sargent and Eunice Sargent to the town of Tuftonboro dated October 6, 1994, and recorded in the Carroll County Registry of Deeds, blah, blah, blah. The town of Tuftonboro hereby declines the purchase of the subject property upon the terms and conditions presented and hereby waives it. This is just a waiver of the first right.
Right.
Right,
But
so
we're
that's
not-
what they need by
the
the
16th.
16th.
Well, they'd love to have.
Otherwise,
a
we
waiver.
automatically waive it.
I think so.
Yeah.
Correct.
So.
So no decision is a decision in this case.
But if we waive the first right, then
The deal's done.
he can do anything he wants.
Right.
Right, so can we make a motion to authorize Steve to go and get a letter from Matt and for me and our town administrator to review it and then contact the other selectmen? Because we have to do this all before the 16th.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Is that close enough to a properly
Motion.
worded motion?
Yeah.
So moved.
I'll second that.
Good. There.
All those in favor?
Okay,
Perfect.
yeah.
Cool.
Thank you, Steve.
I would recommend, Steve, that you provide Matt with some language for the letter, as far as, like, do you want a 50-foot easement along the river? How much of an easement do you want? You know, you don't want to just say.
I mean, as long as it's all the wetlands that are included in the
Right.
easement, I'm okay. with it.
Wetlands move,
Right.
so there would have to be some kind of a buffer.
So I think if we say for now where the wetlands is, I mean, he's very well aware of that wetlands, and he's also aware of the wells. We had a discussion about both of those.
So maybe pick a number, 50 feet.
50
from the-
feet, not
yeah.
50 feet sounds.
Yeah, and then,
Or we can go 25 feet, which is a setback for the wetlands in the town of Tuftonboro anyhow.
Yeah.
and some sort of agreeable language about where the wells are.
Yep,
And then if he could give us a second letter about what that whole piece would cost, just so we can look at it, that'd
Okay.
be fine.
I'll reach out to Matt
I'm not
today.
gonna convince these two guys to buy it, but I'm sure gonna try.
I'll reach out to Matt today.
Perfect.
I mean, he told me he had nothing planned for that back lot anyhow. He really just wants the front lot for the storage facility.
Well, to be clear, I'm not interested in the whole piece as presented, but the back half, which we were just discussing. If it has a benefit to the town or the Conservation Commission, then absolutely.
Right.
But I didn't want to buy a stump dump.
No, the point is
The
that
stump
you-
dumps up the front.
Okay. it's
Yeah,
not
I
there,
know, I know. Okay,
yeah,
we're on the same
We're not,
page.
yeah, we
We
are.
are.
We are. We're talking
So
the same
the two
language.
things, a letter saying,
I mean, Matt Young was always gonna have his property to build on, even if we exercise our first right of refusal. Because he wants it, it's a good use for the property. And all we really wanted was the wells protected on the river, but if we could capture that bottom section, that would be great. But it wasn't gonna affect what he's currently trying to do and has already spent money trying to do.
that's correct.
Yeah.
Okay,
Was there something else that you?
Who's this guy?
yeah,
Yes, I wanted you to review the boundary line adjustment.
the Carlton property.
On the Great Meadow. Because I think the impression was that the Carlton property was gonna be merged with the Great Meadow property. However, the surveyor merged it with the transfer station property.
Correct.
So, it's still town property and Conservation Commission can still get an easement on that section. It just, and I think the warrant article was worded vaguely enough that it's okay. And Steve's gonna go to planning board next week on it.
Yeah, so it's still gonna become part of the Great Meadow. It's just that where the lot ownership ended up was instead of being back here, it's up here. They broke this line up on the front part of the property.
Is that a
versus the
problem?
back. Not for me, no. So we can still, there'll still be an easement placed over that whole property so that nobody can do anything on it. It'll still be conservation land. It's just that instead of it legally being part of the Great Meadow, it's actually gonna be part of this town lot over here.
Speaking of that kind of thing, explore the notion with your grant people of how much grant money we could get for the Melbourne River. Because if we can get grant money enough to offset the price of that bottom piece of property,
This over here? Okay.
then we can work on that too.
Certainly, I can do that, but that's gonna take a little time.
Yeah, that's fine,
Yeah.
yeah, that's fine.
As long as we have the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the time is, if you're buying this lot, it's a whole separate conversation than from what Matt said, right? He won't have to do we won't have to do all the easement work up here. We'll be just drawing a line across there and then the town would own this property. So it's a whole separate, and then he would just need an easement for that piece.
Right, still easement work, no matter what.
Yeah.
Yeah, whatever Matt feels most.
But,
comfortable
if
to.
we're doing that, I don't know if he wouldn't even include that in just selling that piece to the town too. If we're doing all the work of the surveying and everything like that, then it's probably no more work to include this in as part of this lot as well.
Really up to him.
Yeah, it truly is. The point is, I think Matt is willing to do anything that we want. He has no interest in doing anything on these pieces of land, and he was great about this. And Ian has a further conversation with Matt. He also told me that land on either side of the dam up in Melbourne Village, he's willing to put that into a conservation easement as well. So
Cool.
that's a bonus as well. So I think Matt is willing to work with the town.
Yeah,
So now we just need a letter.
I'll get a hold of Matt as soon as I leave here and just let him know that we need that letter as soon as possible. A, for the easements, and then B, if he's interested in selling that piece from the power line back
and the price.
in the price, right?
Great,
All right, cool.
thanks.
Okay, you all set there, Audrey?
I am,
All right, guys?
Thank you, Steve.
Yeah, no problem.
yeah.
And how are we doing for time? Not too bad. Road agent.
How's your knee?
Well, it's getting better slowly. It's been less than fun, we'll say that. Turns out I'm not as tough as I thought I was, but
When are you paving Tuftonboro Neck?
I just talked to him again this morning and Thursday. They'll be here Thursday, Friday. if they can get it done in 2 days, that's their goal, but if not, they'll have to come back and finish, probably Chandler on, Monday.
Okay.
But they're pretty confident they'll get the.
Good, but within the next week.
Yep,
I said before snow flies, so.
Chandler or Shirley?
Chandler.
Chandler.
Well, sorry, Chandler and Shirley, both. Sorry. But Chandler's the one that has no pavement on it. I mean, it's kind of the critical one at the moment.
Totally
that
reclaimed.
Has to be done. Yep. So during the month of August, we had a heavy rainstorm where it was recorded to have 3¼ inches of rain in an hour and a half.
Yeah.
Nothing huge washed out, but it caused many areas around town to have washing along the road edges and more damage on the dirt roads on steep hills like Willand and on the top of Federal Corners Road by the camp. A lot of the ditch lines needed to be cleaned out and all the sumps were full and needed to be excavated out. We have most of that in pretty good shape at the moment. We are starting today on cleaning out the catch basins that are full, and once those catch basins are cleaned out and inspected, we'll start jetting the culverts that need to be cleaned out. Paving on Tuftonboro Neck in Chandler will be started this week, hopefully completed. That'll be on Thursday. And we've also started the removal of rocks on Pine Mill Drive, which is scheduled for paving next year. The road is looking to be a challenge so far. After cutting 2 areas to remove rocks, 15 rocks removed in just those 2 small areas, so hundreds more are expected. It's almost like the
Granite State.
backfilled that thing with rocks, but
Yeah.
So, when we pave the road next year, you're gonna be grinding it or
Yes.
just paving over it?
no, we're gonna grind it. We need to grind
So
it.
would it be worthwhile to do a deeper grind,
I'm gonna have them grind it as deep as they can.
which is what, about 18 inches, 2 feet,
Well, unfortunately, it's only about 12 inches.
about a foot?
Yeah, yep, 12 inches is,
But they can't grind rocks,
it does, yeah, believe it or not.
really?
Oh, yeah, it'll spit them up if it's too big, or, I mean, not too big, if it's small, it'll come back up and it'll grind at them, but if they're big, it'll grind them right off to nothing.
Wow.
Yeah. And if they're like 4 feet deep, they might be okay and you grind the top off. If they're below the 4-foot
They're
frost
always
line, they're not
gonna come
coming back up, but,
They always come up.
yeah, yep, we all know that, even in your garden, they come
In
up
the
every
middle of
year.
a field. Right?
So if they're gonna be grinding and pulling up and grinding rocks, is this wasted effort for you right now? To go in there and pull up rocks by hand?
No, because we're going down deep. We're trying to get, when we see there's a bump, we're digging and exploring to see why. And we're going down the 4 feet and putting gravel back in. So if we see alligator cracking, which we've seen plenty of that, we're going the whole depth just to see why. There's gotta be a reason, you know, anytime you have
Right.
massive cracks or a bump or alligator cracking, there's a reason, it's the base.
Okay.
So anything we can do now is gonna help us in the spring to get that done sooner. I'm hoping to get paving done much earlier this next year.
Do we have, are we under budgetary constraints with regard to the, clearing those rocks?
So, we do have some money left over from the paving budget, we should have. And then you guys mentioned last time there was some more money that would be available for that project.
Well, maybe.
From the highway block grant?
I think that's what you said. I heard $40,000 was.
No,
still
that's the gopher
highway
money.
walk around or something like that. So you gave
You're
me
gonna-
the go ahead to do
you-
that, but
you-
I think we still have. money
Yeah, I
left
don't
over.
remember where we said it was coming from.
Yeah, you got most of that money for your dump truck. I don't think we're gonna give you all the rest of it. So that's just my feeling. We have
Okay.
other place to go with it, but you've got some money left over from the current year
Correct.
paving.
Yep, that's what we're working on now.
Yeah.
So when that's gone, we stop, is that what you're saying? There's no other money to be spent? I don't know if you want
I
to try to
think we
get
need
that.
to talk about it before we,
Okay.
I mean, how much, give us a number, how much money do you need to do your,
Now that we've started, I guess I gotta refigure that, now that we see what we're talking about.
Right.
It needs to be refigured. I would actually feel better after I do it for the rest of this week. That'll give me a better eye on what we're pulling out and how long I think.
So
it'll
how
take.
long would it take to get back to us with an estimate for doing the rest of the rock hauling?
Well,
Next meeting?
yeah, yeah, I can
2
do that
weeks.
before that, 2 weeks, okay.
2 weeks is our next meeting.
Yeah, for sure.
And-
We're gonna need to know that.
We're gonna need to know that,
Yeah.
exactly. We can't move forward without that, right?
Yep, okay,
Audrey?
yep.
The standard operating budget is over by more than 100,000, so
Right,
we have to be really, really cautious. Because
Yeah,
the
so,
budget
Right.
committee did a default budget on the highway department, so.
right.
now, any monies that we would find for him for that would not be from operating budget, it would be from
Contingent.
contingency or leftover grant money or something.
Well,
Maybe
Yeah.
some kind of.
Let's not forget about the transfer station equipment needs.
Mhm.
So
yeah, good point.
it's not, I know it's highways every day, all day, but
Yeah, I wasn't aware of anything but transfer stations, so
Yeah.
this is new to me, but.
Yeah, they've got some equipment
Equipment.
issues.
right.
Yep.
And I haven't seen any additional money coming through grant money, so.
No.
We don't get that block grant every year, or? is
Yeah,
it
we get the
figured
block
in?
grant every year, but it's just calculated into our income. It isn't,
Okay, I
It
didn't
isn't
know how
It's not like
specified
we-
into, go ahead.
yeah, it's not like we separate it out and put it in your budget. We don't, it's just put in our income lines.
Okay, I just know in the past it was always put towards like paving projects or something.
I don't remember that ever happening, Jim, but maybe it did.
It did, yeah, maybe prior to you, but,
Well, I think
yeah, we
maybe
did some
what
extra
they
paving
did
projects.
was say, okay, we're getting $30,000 of block grant money. Now we can plug $30,000 into this project. That's not how the accounting works.
okay,
So
yep,
your perception of what happened isn't necessarily what happened,
correct.
but it does empower you, I guess, to have that.
At the end of the day, he got the money, he just doesn't know how he got it.
Correct,
Yeah,
true statement.
yeah. Very few know how we got it. actually.
Right.
Well, that's why you guys are here.
All right.
But we did, I mean, if you remember budget, I don't know if you were there for the budget committee meetings where they pushed a ton of money into contingency for the selectmen because they didn't want to push money into the highway budget. So we did
Yes, I
have a little-
remember, yeah.
we have a little bit of money there.
But we gotta be very careful how we use that.
Yeah, you know, times have changed when 75,000 is just a little bit of money.
It just doesn't go very far.
Yeah. Was
Barely
that a
buys you
house-
lunch.
was at a house project the other day, and he said he had $160,000 worth of just windows.
Yeah.
Uh,
Oh,
Just
yeah,
windows.
that's crazy. Windows and doors on my addition were $45,000. Yeah, crazy.
Yeah.
I feel like we have more for Jim and I than that here.
Yeah, you do. This, I've given you, and Jim, I sent you the email, and there were a couple items, on that I think outstanding, and usually covered. They might be in the appointments folder.
So I think one of them was to move, there's some, I forget how you put them, not planks, but the concrete.
Oh, yeah, you wanted to talk to him about
The dock
Boat
or the
ramp?
boat ramp.
The boat ramp.
Yeah.
I was hoping to get there and look at it. They went down and looked at it, there was like 25 state cars around there. I think they were on lunch break or something, but,
Yeah.
because they're doing catch basin cleaning as well.
Yeah, we do need to, I mean, we talked to Tyler about it, but we do need to take a look at how that boat ramp at 19 Mile Bay is faring, if there's a broken plank or if there's a missing plank or.
Yeah, so when you say planks, I think they're concrete though.
The concrete,
concrete.
yes,
Yeah.
slabs.
Correct, yeah.
Yeah,
No, a lot of times they're linked together with a cable too.
right.
And the woman is coming coming in later, she's coming in to talk about grants to repair boat ramps. Like up to 135,000.
This is the
Good.
Lakes Winnipesaukee
Yeah.
Association? Wow. Well, there you
I
go.
think you
Yeah, that might
also,
take care of it right there.
it would be good if we could have estimates on paving numbers for warrant articles for next year, how much to pave.
Yeah, earlier, yeah, because we didn't get them until the end last year.
And they can be
Yeah.
still estimates.
Right.
It'd have to be, yeah.
Yeah, they're not the.
Have we
Right.
decided on what we're doing for major road pavement?
If I recall correctly,
We did.
doing Ledge Hill Road, Sodom Road,
We don't have enough money, I think, to do both.
okay. Which one needs it?
I feel like we could look
More.
at that again together, but
Ledge Hill's getting pretty tough.
I think they both are, because it's, you know, they're peeling up is what's happening.
Mm-hmm.
Is
Yeah.
there,
When he
Is
said,
there-
sorry, he said he doesn't have enough money, but if you have money for all three of them, if you have a vote for all three of them, then the selectmen can decide how much they want to ask the taxpayers for.
is there,
Sure, I'll get estimates.
forgive me
Yes.
if this is impractical, but is there any way that you can do the most egregious parts of both roads without having to do the whole thing?
You can always do anything you want, but when you start
That's-
moving the machines around for doing
That
jumping
costs
around,
money.
it gets
Plus it's,
less
I mean,
effective with your budget.
and you have to,
Mobilization.
Yeah, no, I get that.
and political will. I mean, we're gonna present a warrant article for a certain thing to be done. If we bifurcate it, now we gotta go back to next year to do.
Understood.
It's-
Understood.
I mean, I would rather
So-
say, let's look at all of the
Correct.
warrant, and maybe we do all three roads. Maybe we don't have
I
that
would
many
love to.
other
That'd be
warrant
fantastic.
articles. Maybe we can make it
So-
all happen within the
Sodom is
budget.
just gonna be a top coat. I think that one's in fairly good shape. We just need a top coat. So that's gonna be the most reasonable. Obviously, Ledge Hill, we have more than just a top.
That's going to need some ditch and culvert work,
Yeah,
right?
It's gonna need a fair amount of everything, I think.
Yeah,
It's,
so-
we never did grind the top half.
right.
We ground the bottom half.
What do you call the top half? Like from Dame Road up?
Do you remember where TP Village was?
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
stopped right around there.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. They didn't do my house.
We stopped before your house.
I know you did.
We planned that. No.
Stopped at my house.
Oh, now I see how it works.
Right. So we want to probably spend about the same amount of money on paving next year that we are spending this year, but we may be doing more for the through roads and less on the neighborhood roads.
Well, we already have a price on Pine Mill. That we
Right.
already know. And
Right.
that's all the budget for our
Right.
neighborhood paving.
Can you get the pricing on Sodom and Ledge Hill by next meeting?
I can certainly ask. I can call.
Okay.
I mean, you're going to be talking to them a lot in the next
Yeah.
week, right?
So I am. So basically what we do is I meet with Charlie Charlie Emerson. He comes out, he measures the roads, takes
Yep.
the width, all that stuff. He brings it to his boss. Then we got to get the number from his boss, basically.
Okay.
That's how it works.
That's okay.
Yeah.
And that's the harder part of the two.
Yeah. Well,
But I'll try.
yeah, absolutely.
I'll tell him. I need it in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
There you go.
The other warrant article was for the guardrails.
Oh, yeah, that'd be a good one. We do need
Fee
guardrails.
schedules.
We do.
I think we gotta throw a budget number out there, because,
Well, we need to know what a guardrail costs, so we can't throw a budget number out until we know that.
okay, so I do have a budget number already for Sodom Road.
For Sodom?
Sodom Road, that
Yep.
small area where we gotta change the culvert. I don't have it off the top of my head, but we did get a number from, a company. We have that. I guess we can base it off from that. We'll know how many feet that is and what
Right.
that costs, so.
And then just figure out,
But, so much needs to be done that, I think.
right, I think we need to look at, and I haven't discussed it with my brothers here, but I think we need to look at a capital reserve fund for guardrails. I mean, I
I
think,
think it's gonna be an ongoing project. for
yeah, it's
many
gonna be
years.
a while to get them done. And it isn't gonna go away until we do get them done.
So is it the kind of thing that we do piecemeal? In other words, X amount per year?
That's what
Because you're
Yeah.
talking about capital reserve, and
Right.
Well,
As
every
opposed to
year
a
it's
warrant, as
figured
opposed
out.
to a warrant article every
Well, no,
year.
it would be a warrant article for a capital reserve fund. So let's say we've got our warrant pretty well figured out and we can plug in 50 grand or we can plug in 100 grand for guardrails. It's not that our expectation is that's gonna get spent in 2026 or
Okay.
whatever. It's that you're starting a fund and then the next year you put a little more money in. And then
So,
he
so you're
starts
not
the
doing it
project.
ongoing then?
I'm sorry?
No, it's ongoing. You put in and you spend, you put in and you spend.
So every year gets 30,000.
But just creating a
Cost 200.
But just creating a separate account for it rather
Yeah.
than trying to mix it into.
Takes
Right.
out of the general.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it absolutely should be a separate warrant
It
article.
has to be, given our current road budget.
It's visible.
We just
It's a
get-
defined amount of money to
People
spend
can
on
pick and
guardrails per
choose, do you
year.
wanna do that this
Right.
year or not?
Right.
Right.
Similar to what we do with paving.
Or the police cruisers. You know, we
Right.
have to
I think that's
spend it
correct.
all in 1 year.
But I think it needs to be a reasonable number, like 30,000, not 200 all in that one shot.
Right.
And we should see if the guardrails are included in the grant that we're looking at for the Sodom Road culvert.
I did include those numbers, so there would be, yes, that would be included, correct.
So we're meeting with FEMA this week on it, HEB and I.
Good.
Yeah, I was asked purposely to make sure I had the guardrails numbers. in
Well,
those.
guardrails are essentially emergency management, aren't they?
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, I think that kind of falls into their rubric. Just saying.
Yeah, that's not a bad idea.
Oh, was there something else that we had? for January?
Yep, there's a couple of things here. There's a note here. I'm just going off the list that I have here. Tuftonboro Neck Road, a couple of trees taken down.
We took them down, they need to be taken down.
27 Tuftonboro Neck Road has 2 trees taken from lake.
Soggy
so-
trees.
Marine Patrol suggested town could
Yeah,
handle
no, that's
removal.
not true. I don't, so we've helped them out in the past where they towed them into, they were floating out in the lake.
Yep.
They towed them to the boat ramp. We went down, picked them up. But we're not going to somebody's property and dragging them up to their property and taking them out. That's,
They're on the water, state property. If we can
State
help them
does
out,
that.
they can bring them to do something else. They can
yeah,
bring
they
them to
have
a
to
boat
be
ramp, right?
delivered to the boat ramp or somewhere where we can reach it.
And you're willing to do that if they bring it to a boat ramp, a public boat ramp.
Correct. That, we've done that before for the Marine Patrol. I don't
Mm-hmm.
know if that's something we want to continue to keep doing for residents, for everybody to start dragging their logs there. But
No, I mean if it's in Tuftonboro, if it's in 19 Mile Bay or 20 Mile Bay, it's a hazard to Tuftonboro residents. I don't see why not.
this is actually particular ones in the basin. One of
Yeah.
those, in that little.
Well, that's Tuftonboro.
Yep, it is.
But the guy's
No.
taking them up onto his private property.
Yeah. How would you get them out? There's no public boat ramp to the
We
basin.
don't, what,
Not gonna
what's
haul 'em through
on his
the-
private property, they're his.
Yeah.
So,
I
Yeah.
mean, we've all had to, everybody around the lake has had to clean up logs in their own property at some point.
Yeah.
That's a guarantee. So that's up to
Okay.
you guys if you want to get into the log removal business.
No. No. Like I said, if it's out floating and it's a hazard, maybe.
That's when the Marine Patrol comes. in.
Right. Okay. Let's see, the question was, can you pair the 3 lowest concrete planks? We talked about that. 6 Union Wharf Road, Mr. Hazlitt has requested a hidden driveway sign.
Okay, yeah, that's something.
What do you know
guys
about
have
that?
to give us the okay to.
Well, we'd need a recommendation from you if it's
Appropriate.
yeah, what he said. Take a look at it, and if you agree that it's appropriate, then I would support it.
I mean, I think we could probably put them in anywhere around town,
I know.
There are hundreds of them, but.
Yeah, but there's some that are much more difficult than others.
Okay,
Just use your best judgment.
okay. All right, and then then I come back to you with that in 2
Yeah,
weeks. and
come
you
back with a
have to vote on it?
recommendation.
Is that how it works?
Yeah,
Okay.
come back with a recommendation. Look at line of sight. Union
Sent
Wharf,
the
what's
letter,
it?
and then he's also come into the town office.
Yeah, it's at 35 miles an hour. I don't know what you have to have what you should have for a line of sight. But if you can't see it until you're right on top of it, that's a problem.
where is this?
Number 6.
Number 6, Union Wharf. Which
So
end is
that
that?
down on the lake?
Is that the lake end or the, I don't know which end that is.
I'm not positive now, but, I mean, there's a blind section on each end when you think about it. A little bit right up here, and you come over the hill. And then on the far one, there's a little bit of a blind area too, when you, just between here, after you go past Farm Pond, there's a little bit of a blind.
What's the
area.
address?
6,
Union Wharf?
yeah.
Yes,
So it'd have to be at one end or the other.
yeah.
And at either end, you're turning off a highway.
It's just, I mean, unless I'm looking at the wrong address.
Yeah, it's on the lake end.
Yeah.
Okay,
That's on the lake end.
this makes sense. It
So
starts
we're
somewhere.
looking at a blind driveway sign on the east side?
No, west
The
side.
numbers start at the lake end of Union Wharf and come this way.
No, I know, but where are you gonna put the sign? You're gonna put it over here, right?
I don't know.
I mean, it looks like a straightaway to me, so
That's
I'm a
that's
little
why we
bit-
need him
You
to give us
still
a
have curve.
recommendation.
I mean, a hill, sorry.
Oh, right. Okay.
Yeah. I mean,
And I think that's what it is the hill. It's not the sharp corner as much as the hill.
Gotcha.
Take a look at it.
Okay,
Give us a recommendation.
all right.
And road sign. Hurlburt Way has an incorrect
I
sign. Road Drive.
I didn't see
Should be
that.
Hurlburt Way.
I did order a new one. The new one has been ordered.
Okay, so you're aware of all that.
Yep.
Okay.
I'll tell you what happened, I think, is that we got crushed this, when we had that windstorm this spring. And we actually had one sitting on the shelf, not thinking about it. Well, go put that up, but it was probably on the shelf because it was spilled from the first time, you know? We should have thrown it away, but we're like, yeah, throw it up on the shelf.
Okay. And just, I don't know if you're aware or not, last meeting, we received an email from Ken Levitt
I heard it.
thanking you for your quick response
Okay.
in taking care of the damage that recently happened. So,
Yep, good. That was nice of him.
yep.
okay. So are we still doing tree removal?
Yes, in fact, I just wanted to get a little bit of an update on my budget so that I could give the correct numbers, because our tree guy is asking what is left in the budget, so I need to give him the exact numbers.
I'm showing $16,000,
Okay,
but that's as of the 6th. I don't know if you had any additional bills that came in.
no. I mean, that's fairly up to date.
As of September 6th?
Yeah,
16,000 left.
yeah, 16,305. So.
All right, I will let him know.
So we need to coordinate somehow, and this is just for you to think about. But the cemetery committee needs some tree work done. And they're not as capable of contracting tree experts and tree removal people as you are. And I'm wondering if we can't include their tree needs with your tree needs in the coming
At
years.
least try to get the same good rate that we get.
Yeah, and give
They'll
that,
have their own separate budget.
and, right, you wouldn't have to pay for it.
I
But
think that we
give
can ask
that,
them.
make that a bigger number so it maybe attracted bigger tree companies or whatever.
Oh, we're getting like phenomenal deal right now.
Yeah,
You can try
So-
as many people as you want.
right. But I keep hearing about these trees that are gonna fall down or trees that have
Yeah.
fallen down.
It'll be a shame.
And yeah, it just ends up costing you more money because you gotta fix everything. So, all right,
I will talk to our tree guy
okay,
and see if we can pass the same deal along
okay, sounds good.
to the cemetery.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then you want to talk to Sue Weeks to get priority.
Yeah, they have to come up with a list. So, and I think that they have, I'm not sure, but I think they have.
Yep. Yep.
So this will be 2025, not 2024. Obviously, your tree budget is your tree budget for this year, but let's
Correct.
figure out what we need to do next year.
Yep, unless they have some money left in their budget.
Special.
Yeah, they have a little bit, but I don't think they have a lot.
I don't even look.
Maintenance, they have a maintenance line.
Yeah, they had,
They have a restoration line, but that's for cemetery improvements, cornerstone.
recreation line in the cemetery committee?
Restoration.
Those people don't have much recreation, do they?
Yeah, I think they basically have a maintenance line.
Yeah. I mean, they're still sitting on half their budget, so it isn't as if there isn't some money kicking around for them to get something done.
Well, I can always present to her possibly.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We can get the deal or we can't get the deal. And
right,
this is what the deal is.
Yep, pretty much.
right. Yeah, because they need to come up with their budget sometime in the next 60 days, and that should include
It'd be easier for them to figure out their.
this year's tree budget, which is going to be in coordination with the highway department. And that would be ideal.
Yeah. I still think the tree budget needs to go up in our
Yeah,
areas just because it's.
yeah. Especially with
If you
the
look up,
ash.
it'll scare you.
Yeah,
They're everywhere.
oh yeah, you look at the dead trees everywhere. That's
Yep. There's no shortage.
Okay. We good? The road agent?
yeah. We're gonna see you again on the 6th or the
2 weeks?
2
2
weeks.
Okay.
Well, it's actually 2 weeks from yesterday.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. You good?
I know.
All right.
I didn't see you last month, I want to see you twice this month.
Make up for
Yeah,
lost
it'll
time.
be quicker though. I think we can go over paving budgets and that kind of thing.
Yeah, I will do my best. We'll see if we can have it in 2 weeks.
The
All right.
23rd, Jim.
23rd.
Yeah.
Okay. You'll probably send me the date and time, so as you usually do.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Save the date.
We got a few minutes. Parks and Rec is not due till 11 o'clock. It's 10:45. So let's take some time and
Okay.
go through our consent calendar. Which we had a right of burial for the Tranchita family.
Which you already signed.
Which we already signed, that's all done, and we have a notice of intent to cut. Tax map 54, block 1, lot 46.
I'll make a motion. We sign the intent to cut.
Second. All those in favor? Aye.
Do
We need a
the,
motion for the burial though.
no, we already did it last week.
Oh,
Remember they needed
sorry,
a,
I've been here.
How did the motion? I didn't. What did your motion say? For the consent calendar, or was it specific to this?
my motion was specific to
Oh,
that.
sorry, that was my error then.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
So make a motion that we approve the right of burial for Tranchita.
I thought that we already had done that.
We already signed it,
Okay.
but we never formally approved it.
All right. I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. My date's straight over, so just find another line.
Do the rights of burial forms, do those also get sent to the cemetery committee?
Yes.
So there's no reason not to know that somebody just got buried in the cemetery and where?
I went over the procedure yesterday with Cammie, and we know what lots were sold to who. We do not know who was buried where.
Well, the right of burial is for the person getting buried.
Right, but we don't know when the burial is.
I'm sorry. The right
wait,
of
you
burial tells you when the burial is and who's getting buried.
No,
No?
it means if I were to purchase a lot there, I'd be buying the right to of burial.
No. You're purchasing a lot.
Yeah.
This thing for the Tranchita child
It's a deed. No,
was
it's
for-
for lots.
was for him to get buried.
No, it's the right to bury in that spot. That's the way I understand it.
They purchased 4 full burial plots.
Okay.
It unfortunately happened that they needed to use one.
So when they take the use of one,
We're not in the loop.
we don't get notification?
No,
No.
that's not our purview.
It's the cemetery committee.
No, I appreciate, somebody's gotta know.
Yeah.
But how are they informed? I don't know.
So the people who will be digging the plot, say Lawrence, will let Sue know, we have a burial to do on such and such a date.
So there's no form, there's no paper trail?
She know, well, they may, something that we're not purview to, they may have their own. But Susan would be notified, and then she'd notify the sexton to mark it out.
And the sexton is usually there for the burial because then he or she will fill the plot in if it's a cremation, or he will be there to assist or wait till the backhoe or whoever is done filling a full plot.
Okay.
Okay?
Do you know when you're gonna need
Good.
your plot, Chip?
I'm sorry?
Do you know when you're gonna need yours?
We don't
know.
I may never use it.
See?
I may decide, no, I don't want it.
Right.
Okay, you want another signature item here?
No, signature items are done.
No, they're not.
Yeah, that's an action item. I put
Oh,
that
I'm
as
sorry, it's an action item. Forgot
Because
that.
we have others, we have to.
It's
read it.
mislabeled.
Okay.
It's mislabeled with a
Okay,
signature.
action
line.
items. We have the New Hampshire Association of Assessing Officials who would like us to vote on their candidates. There is one candidate for every position. There are no contested seats. So as a courtesy, I think we'll send this back and check off every box with one vote. I make a motion that we check off the boxes as presented, as there's no contested seats.
I'll second that.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Save this for the end. Let's see, we have Canaan Road culvert and the Curtis Road drainage projects. I'll just read this. The Canaan Road culvert and the Curtis Road drainage projects are proceeding forward under the disaster grant as intended, which is a one-time 90% reimbursement grant round, where it appears the Sodom Road drainage and the Union Wharf culvert projects were pushed to a different grant, which I believe would only be a 75% reimbursement. We don't understand why the reason for the change, but I recommend the town take
Did I miss that meeting?
NHSEM up on the offer to meet with FEMA and understand. Sounds like you're meeting with FEMA this week. Is this going to be part of the discussion?
Yeah, there's actually two. The next email as well. I'm only printed out the cover, not the attachments. So Sodom Road culvert and Union Wharf culvert road are part of that new grant program. That email you just read was from Chris Pointer at HEB. And he left me a voicemail right before I came in that said he really didn't think we needed to meet with FEMA. Maybe he opened all the attachments. So I'll call him this afternoon. We'll complete the paperwork and go forward with the selectmen understanding that it's not a full grant, it's a 75 and 90% if that's what he wants to do.
Okay. All right. And finally, the fire engine lease.
Right.
Want to talk
so-
about that?
Yeah, the last page, pages 33 and 34 in my print document are a form of resolution. And so maybe when you have a break, you can read it in full. And then I need a vote. I need Bob to sign it, and then I need to witness it. And then I think you already approved the lease based on legal review. So I included legal review's email in there. She found a typo, and the insurance has gone to Primex for her advice.
Okay. So we'll take.
But legal isn't going to complete their letter until after everything's signed.
All right. Do we need, since we already approved it, do we need a vote to sign this?
Yeah, we do, because
That-
it's asking for a record of the votes, ayes,
Yes.
no's, absence,
So the
abstain.
form of resolution, those 2 pages.
Okay.
It's a formal resolution.
All right, so we need to read this before we adjourn.
Yes,
Read it and
please.
vote before we adjourn.
I'm sorry, I wasn't aware of that last page, so I completed it yesterday.
Okay. Well, we can save this to the end.
Yeah,
Just don't let me forget
Or lunch.
I will.
for lunch. And quickly go through correspondence while we have a few minutes. Notice of a public hearing. Town of Moultonborough is putting up a cell tower, and they're notifying us if we want to attend their hearing. Tufton Borough Board of Selectmen, this is a notification from the New Hampshire DOT, not a notification, just a follow-up on the conversation that they had with us about,
Stop sign.
no,
20 Mile.
20 Mile Brook down by North Country Village. There's,
Oh, the stone culvert.
yeah, it's just, it's not a whole lot of information here, it's just a follow-up to the public meeting that was held. Feel free to read it at your leisure. Tufton Borough ZBA is having a hearing on tomorrow night for a variance concerning 4.2 of the zoning ordinance. And Tufton Borough Police Department, Chief Hathcock, we a couple of weeks ago we asked him to take a look at the road up at Abenaki Tower to see if there are any signage that could be improved upon to help prevent accidents. And the note that I have here says that he has reviewed it, and he believes that there is appropriate signage already in the area. And we have financial update from the library.
Would you like me to have them come into the next meeting or in October for chat?
Well, it'd probably be a good idea. Yeah, it's been a few meetings, and budget season is on our doorstep.
Yeah, I'll recommend.
It's here, so we should probably just have a chat.
October, or do you want to have them in the next meeting?
I think it'd be better just to get them in and get it over with. And what do you think?
I'm sorry.
Sooner to meet with the library again, just a little FaceTime sooner, or next meeting, or October?
October, I think, is fine. I mean, once a quarter, I think, is perfect. I mean, he doesn't like to come in. I don't know why, but
Well, Dennis didn't come in last time. Jamie came in last time,
right.
which is fine. She's the chair.
I'll look at the agenda for next meeting because it's already things on it. So it might get pushed to.
That's fine. That's fine. It's certainly not critical. We just want to have a little FaceTime before the budget season really gets grinding.
Next week,
Sure.
Tuesday.
We have an 11 o'clock with Parks and Rec. You're here for Lake Winnipesaukee Association, I presume? All right. Parks and Rec is our next at 11
Yeah,
o'clock.
Eileen is
She's not here yet.
working, So, she's working the polls, so she has to wait till she can break.
All right. I don't want to go too early. Give any public the chance to be here at the appointed time. So let's take a 15-minute recess.
Okay.
15 minutes.
10 minutes.
5 minutes.
You're on.
Okay. Eileen Gill, Parks and Rec.
That's me.
Sort of.
Just a little update. I just wrote some notes.
How's Dennis doing?
Okay, I spoke with him over the weekend. He does not have to have surgery on his eyes. You know, he broke those orbital bones from the airbags. From the airbags.
Yeah.
Wow.
I heard that was fairly common.
You know, I've never been in an accident with an airbags went off, so yeah, I think just the sheer force of that. So he has been sort of in and out. I think he stopped by the office last week a little bit. He said he was going to try yesterday, Monday. I'm not sure. He had an appointment today for some other tests, but he's thinking that he'll be gradually working his way back. So that's what I know. I mean, I've spoken to him a couple of times. So, and he, thanks the town for all the checking in that everybody's done. So I have a few notes. The old home days, with Bob's help and the rest of the commission. We
Well, I didn't do a lot, but you guys really pulled it together, and
We pulled it together not at the last minute because there was there was a whole schematic laid out. The concert was well attended. Of course, it was Carolyn Ramsey, and that's I'd say there was a couple hundred people there at the beach on the Carolyn. Zach Tufts, who's our member, did the cooking. He's done it every week. I could not be there for the last one. You were.
Yep.
And was it attended? How was it?
probably 30, 40 people.
Yeah, I think it was a little late in the year because kids are getting ready to, it was the very last week of August.
Yeah, I would say that it really wasn't well attended.
I'm thinking we'll take the feedback back that maybe we don't need that last week of August and see, because we have to get enough sponsorships to pay for the concerts and all.
Yep.
The commission members really did help out, and I was able to then jump in with the picnic, and I'd say there was about 100 people there. You were there too. I think about 100.
No, the picnic was what I was talking about. I think
okay.
there was probably 30 or 40 people
Oh,
at the
okay,
picnic.
all right, I'm sorry.
That's
Yeah.
what I mean, and that's what I thought wasn't really well attended.
Oh, okay, I thought you meant the last concert.
No.
Okay. So the picnic, the feedback that I got personally was people prefer to have it over by the firehouse. We will take that back for, for consideration. And it might have been more well attended over in the Central Park where it had been a couple of years ago.
Did they say why?
I'm thinking it's because we always did it that way, but I'm not sure.
Tradition.
I'm not sure. Yeah.
There weren't any dates on the signs.
Well, that's true. There weren't
So I
any
think
dates on
more,
the sign.
More advertisement
Yeah.
for it might help.
Right. I have that as feedback also, and even in the brochure pamphlet, it wasn't well spelled out dates and times. So that needs to be more.
And I can always put stuff on the website too, which I didn't get
I
anything
think-
to do, so.
In the past, before Dennis was the director, there was a much larger community interaction on the old home days, and I don't know how that can be brought back, but we need to think about that. I mean, I know the Methodist Church had their luncheon. I don't know how well attended that was. The cardboard boat race was postponed because of, right? I think originally when I came on the commission, it was only maybe a day and a half. It was like a Saturday and Sunday kind of thing. There was a road race and a few things. I'm not sure. I know that other towns have like a one-day Old Home Day. I think I told Bob the history of Old Home Day, you probably know, is to bring people back to the community. And I didn't see we brought a lot of people back, So we'll have to talk about more advertisement, better advertisement, maybe more community action. I don't know if you have any feedback that I can take with me on that.
I think you brought up the major points.
Yeah.
So we have a meeting coming up on the 17th because last week was after Labor Day, today's the primary, so we're gonna have a meeting, we'll go over some feedback from that. Then another thing to pass along is that Joyce, her name went out of my head. Joyce Lake has sort of stepped back from being the point person on the Central Park project for her own reasons. So we will put that on our agenda for the 17th. Some folks have come forward to, not necessarily to be the point person, but to give us some feedback. So on the 17th, we will be talking, and we're not sure how to proceed. I know that the folks want us to put something in for the planning for the next year, so we need to talk about that. I think we have to sort of drop back and look at what's exactly happening. What is scheduled, townwide yard sale for October 3rd, I think it is. That's on the agenda. Dennis has, I think, stopped by. 5th, I'm sorry, the 5th.
That sounds.
And Dennis has stopped by and looked at the people that are enrolled. He will be working on that.
How do people apply to be on that map?
I think it's on the town, isn't it on the Parks and Rec part?
It's not on there, because I wasn't asked to put it on, but I can put it on.
All right.
There's sign-up sheets on the table in the town hall.
Mm-hmm.
And once those sign-up sheets are completed they have to be collected as of the end of September, the map will be made up. Then that will be available at the town hall also.
I'm just going to suggest that there should be some kind of instruction on how people can sign up. Perhaps this application be put on as a PDF. People can print it at home
can be.
and
Yep.
bring it in.
Yep,
Would you do that?
sure.
Thank you.
I'll put on the Facebook page.
Dennis has been in contact with the school for the Tuesday, Thursday slot, so he usually has dodgeball for the kids on one of those days, and he had a really successful adult basketball program going. So he has reserved the Tuesday, Thursday, and he'll finalize that
Good,
soon. And that's really all I have.
good.
Nice.
We will do what we can to pick up some of these pieces that have sort of fallen by the wayside, but we'll do that.
And when do you expect Dennis back?
Well, I think he's popping in and people aren't seeing him. But I mean, like full-time is
Does
2
he
or
have
3
to-
days a week.
Docks and the lines and all that sort of thing to take care of.
We will cover that on the 17th anyhow, because Zach Tufts is the one that does that, both
Okay.
of those.
All right.
We'll cover those. So normally we would have met the first Tuesday of the month, but because it was the day after Labor Day and then today's, we moved it back, but we will have that, yes, the docks,
Docks
clearing
are on
up the
docket.
beach. I'm sorry,
So the docks are on the docket.
the docks were on the docket, Your Honor. And other than that, I'll take some questions, or if you have anything you want to give us for that meeting beside what I've talked about, by all means, you can ship it
No,
over.
I'm good. I think you
Yeah.
guys did a great job this summer.
I think the concert, I do want to speak. There was some hiccups on the swim lessons. The gal that was the swim instructor,
Right.
she got COVID during one time, and I think the ball got dropped. So he does have 4 or 5 people that he's going to refund their money. That's on his agenda. I had, I believe we had 2 articles in the paper, one about the old home days and the other one about Tuftonboro, Wolfboro cornhole. And I don't believe the rematch has been done yet. So it might be done in the spring, given the time frames. So Tuftonboro will keep the bowl for a while.
Good.
And then something else just went through my mind, but it's gone. It's gone. All right, so
Okay.
All right.
anything else?
No, we're
Okay.
good. Thank you very much.
Thanks.
Keep
For
up the
my
good.
next trick.
Keep up the good work. And next, Lake Winnipesaukee Association. Come on up. How are you?
Good, how are you?
Very well, thank you.
Okay, so I was here in April.
Your name for the record?
Oh,
Right.
Pat Tarpey, president of the Soccer Association.
Thank you.
Talking to you about, we had a grant through Department of Environmental Services to do 3 projects in Tuftonboro.
Right.
But since then, and the contractor we were gonna work with, met with the road agent, and they just decided the projects don't make sense. Those that had been identified.
These are the ones that you came to us with a proposal with a limited budget, and we kind of sent you back and said, let's see what we can do for the money.
Right.
Okay.
Yes, I've got 50,000. So I am putting in an extension request to New Hampshire DES to get another year, because the grant expires at the end of this year. But I got a call last week from a different department of DES that said, we've got 80,000 in ARPA funds. Do you have a shovel-ready project? So I could combine, and that's what I want to talk to you about. I could take the 50 and this potentially 80 and do a project in Tufton Borough. And so you had mentioned in April Lake Street and doing the boat ramp. And that's what I wanted. And when I mentioned that to DS, they said, yes, we would like that project. So I need to know where that project's at, whether you think you'll have engineering design ready for next year, when you think construction might happen, to see if that's a potential project.
Well, we have 2 boat ramps that need attention. The one at 19 Mile Bay and the Lake Road, Lake Road
Yeah, I think
boat ramp.
The one
I think it would be hard where you're getting your grant money from what the Department of Environmental Services, yes. The grant for that $100,000 that we got on the pier also came out of there. So I don't know that they'll grant it twice for the same thing.
Okay.
I
But we did meet with our,
I know the Lake Street one was identified in the management plan we completed for Marlboro Bay.
and we did meet with our engineer there 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, a couple of weeks ago.
And he was coming up with some preliminary figures. I don't think he's got his design completed yet. But it included the bulkhead and the boat ramp.
And what about, I know there was a lot of gravel there Right.
Drainage.
from the last time. Does it include fixing that, addressing that?
It's addressing that, yeah, we haven't got the plans back, so I can't be specific. But we did talk about the drainage that was happening on Lake Street to mitigate that going into the lake. So, yeah, that would be shovel ready for next year.
Or do you need something shovel ready now?
No, it doesn't. I asked that. They need to commit the funding by November this year, or it's gonna go away. And it's coming out of their second bacteria mitigation fund. So the project can happen next year, but he wants to commit the funding.
What do you need from us to commit?
I need to know, well, probably at some point, a letter from the town describing what the work is. He was gonna find out whether you could use this funding for the engineering design phase or not, but if you think you can actually construct it next year, then the money can be used towards that. Any kind of bulk, if you don't have any engineering design yet, but maybe who you met with could give you some general description of what the work would entail.
Yeah, that's what we're trying to get. We met with them to try to get just that and the budget figure to put in for a warrant article for March. So if we can get a warrant article put together, we could very easily commit to doing some work there next year.
Why are we not talking about the boat ramp at Melvin Wharf? Excuse me.
Union
Pier
Wharf,
19, yeah.
because we already got a grant that included that.
Right, but
So-
why are we assuming that they're gonna conflict?
Because I think that the state's assumption was that that ramp and the bulkhead that went around Union Wharf was what they were granting money for.
Yeah.
So we've already been given a grant to do that boat ramp. I don't think maybe they'd give us a second grant.
I guess, here's my question. My question is simply this. Given this volume of money, which is more important? Because if we find that Melvin Wharf boat ramp,
Melvin Wharf.
sorry,
Union
Union Wharf boat ramp is more important, and it would seem to me it is only because I think that's more well used.
I agree.
Then why wouldn't we at least ask? And if they say no, we need you to, then fine. But it feels to me like Union Wharf is more important to do. That's all I'm asking is why
I
are we
wouldn't
not
say
having
it's
that conversation?
I wouldn't say it's more important. I would say that it's much more heavily used.
And that's, to me, that means it's more important.
But we don't have a
To me.
number on it yet.
No.
Right.
And
I
I don't
understand
know.
that.
I don't, even if we had to put all new planking in on that launch that's there, and I don't think it all needs to be replaced. I don't think we're talking $100,000. So,
I will check to see if the Union Wharf site was identified in the management plan. Doesn't ring a bell. Not that, don't think on me.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not,
How much that influences, I do know the Melvin Village site was identified.
Well,
And kind of high priority.
I think
Okay.
I think what I'm hearing is the three of us recognize that Union Wharf is more used, and it would probably be our first choice to have boat ramp repair done. But the fact that we used $100,000 that we were already given, that was broadly, the scope of that money was kind of broad, so we used it on
I don't know that we've used
the
it
Union
all.
Wharf. No, not all of it, but we've used
But do
some
you-
of it.
Do you have a design for Union Wharf?
How much do we have left?
Yeah, grand, $2,000, not much.
not much.
Yeah, it's
Certainly not enough.
essentially
You
used.
have cyanobacteria blooms in 19 Mile
Yeah.
Yes.
Bay area, so I think that would also influence it.
I think
That they would do.
I think if we could do Union Wharf with this grant money, I think that would be our preference.
Okay,
But I think, as Chip alluded to, he may be afraid that they may not let us use it for Union Wharf.
if it
And
comes
then-
out of a different pot, it might be okay.
And it's 80,000 and 50,000, is that?
Well, I had 50, that's,
Okay.
I definitely have 50. And I need to also let the Department of Environmental Services for the 50 know what project that's gonna switch to. Because they'll do an extension, but it goes to Governor and Council and has to be specified. So, it could go to Union Wharf, but it is for construction, not necessarily design work. The 80, I have to get back to this other area department to give him my suggestions. It's not a definite, but I think they want it to go to Winnipesaukee. It's out of the Cyanobacteria Mitigation Fund. 19 Mile did have a couple, twice I think. in June.
Yeah, twice.
And the end of
And
August.
just recently.
Yes.
Yep.
So they probably would like that, to address that. So is it addressing mitigation issues at Union Wharf Ramp too? To reduce the amount of runoff? Is there erosion there? Is it a,
Well, the problem with the boat ramp there now essentially is there's been so much prop wash that it's burrowed, and it's making it very, very difficult for boats to launch because there's a hole there. And
At the end.
yeah, at the end. So I don't know how you would tie that into cyanobacteria mitigation,
Right.
but it's definitely a problem.
I'm trying to think
If-
last time I was down to see. But is it a grassy
No,
launch or is it all?
Well,
it's all pavement.
Yeah, it's paved and then it turns to concrete.
Right.
It's got concrete slabs,
So
or
what-
planks they're called.
What's the work, to fill in the hole?
No, to actually lift up the planks and readjust it, move the, fill in the hole, but readjust the planks because they've settled.
But when you say planks, you're talking about cement blocks.
Concrete slabs.
But,
Yeah, they call them planks.
Okay.
but,
The ramp's actually tipped too, because I put the boat, I put
Yeah,
our
it's-
boats in and
it's-
out.
it's moved.
It's a hard,
right. However,
it's hard to get in
if
now.
what you're talking about is towards mitigation for cyanobacteria, that this does not fit that. And that's my misunderstanding. I apologize.
I think it would be to reduce like pollution into
Slow.
the lake.
In that case, then that brings us back to
Lake Street.
So, but if you want to tie it together, if we repaired the boat ramp at Union Wharf, I think there would be less disturbance to the water and to the earth underneath the water,
Yeah,
because it wouldn't be as difficult to launch a boat. But now it's difficult to launch a boat. We're stirring up a lot. Would that contribute to?
okay.
So maybe that's the connection that we need.
Yeah, I mean, now you have all the information. you can maybe make a recommend. Now that you know what we're up against, you can take that and
I think Union Wharf would be our first choice.
I think we need to get Tyler in touch with Patricia and talk through the two projects and see what, because he's working on grant funding as well, to see what might happen. But he would have a whole lot better clue as to what, I mean, he works with DES all the time on these waterfront projects. Tyler Phillips, I don't know if you know Tyler or not.
I'll give you his name.
Okay.
But each project would be ready to go next year. Do you have an idea of the total cost?
Not yet.
That's what he was working up for us.
Okay.
So,
So it's 319, the 50,000 requires 40% match. I'm not really worried about that. I think I already have that. I don't think there's a match requirement with the ARPA funds. The 80,000.
well, I don't think that 80 and 50 combined is going to do the project. So
Right.
we're going to have to come
80,
up with some money.
Yeah.
80 and 50, that might do one. Won't do both.
It won't do Lake Street.
You know,
Cause he was at
just the ramp?
250.
Just the ramp?
I don't know that would work for for what Patricia's talking about.
and that's
Because the mitigation's all happening from the runoff, and that's all up on the road
right.
thing.
That's why I said like now that she has more information on both of the projects,
Right.
she can make a better determination of.
And I don't think the ramp's an issue on Lake Street. I haven't heard anything about it.
I don't know. I'm not aware.
It didn't,
It's the bulkhead and the,
correct.
And the runoff.
And the runoff.
right.
They definitely would like the idea of addressing the runoff.
Because that does contribute to the
Yeah.
sand effect.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I think a chat with Tyler and try to work your way through those problems and then come back to us. But either one of, or Melvin, I mean, we're gonna have those projects, Union Wharf and Lake Street and Melvin Wharf, shovel ready for next year. Whether we do them next year isn't, we haven't gotten to that point. But the more grant money we can point at some project or another,
Yeah.
means it's more likely to get priority over others. But we're gonna probably do one of the three next year. I mean, I don't know why not.
The ARPA money can be used for engineering, right?
He was not sure he was going to get an answer to that because I asked him.
Forgive me, what's ARPA?
American Rescue Plan Act.
Yeah.
Yeah, COVID money.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So,
Not to be
DES
confused
wants
with Gopher money.
Right.
to use the money. They don't want it to go away. I don't want the 50,000 to go away, so I definitely want to
Right.
switch a project.
Yeah, I don't
Did
think,
they give you all the information you need?
Not quite, but I'll go back and talk to him about the two. And at some point, I'll need more of a description and
Yeah,
estimated
and Tyler
costs.
can provide that a lot better than we can.
And he's with who?
I have it for you.
Okay.
It's Horizon Engineering, I
Oh,
think.
okay.
I think
He's
that's
with Headwater Consultants.
Headwater. Oh, sorry, you
Yes.
moved.
Yeah.
scratch that. Headwater
Scratch
Consultants.
that.
Yeah.
Okay.
But she'll get you the details.
Okay, so you're fine, one, switching from the previous projects and trying to get this additional funding for either Union Wharf.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Okay,
That's good.
all right, good.
Absolutely.
Who turns down money?
Yeah, if there's funding available, we'd like to take advantage of it.
Yep.
And if it's limited to what we can spend it on, then it's limited to what we can spend it on.
Okay. No, the most important thing is, how close to shovel ready are these two?
Right.
And if they'll be next year, that's fine.
All these projects have been talked about with Tyler,
Okay,
and he's working on getting us budget numbers for at least two of them,
okay, great,
and that's where we're at.
okay.
So shovel ready doesn't necessarily entail funding. And we still have to go through town meeting for that, but for your
Right.
purposes, it will be shovel ready, or they will be shovel ready.
Well, the fact that you're also gonna put them on a warrant article is important for DES to know.
Yeah. Well, and we'd have to, even if there's a grant coming to pay for it all,
Yeah.
we still have to ask the voters if they want to
If
do it.
they will.
Right, because we have to accept the money and we still have to spend it, so.
Right,
Need the voter to let us do that.
yeah. Okay, great. That's what I wanted to talk about.
Awesome.
Thanks for coming in.
Thank you.
Thank
for
you.
coming in.
Yeah, thanks. Oh, great, thank you.
Let's see, town administrator update. Yes, no?
I second the request for new chairs in this room.
Wow, what's wrong with these? They're bought and paid for.
I have to bring my own. So budget season's upon us. I met with Ross from Unismart, who's our software for our finances, and he taught me last week how to do the budget in Unismart, and so I can create the budget the way Budget Committee has always seen it prior to my sheets last year. And what that allows is to keep an updated expenditure when I do the reports. I think that's what it's going to provide. And I added Ashley, the budget committee person, taking minutes now, to Unismart to be able to do that and help me enter budget things.
And pull reports and,
Yeah, not so much reports because Cammie and I do that.
okay.
And then you already know Chris and I are going to be on, Chris Fournier and I are going to be on that meeting. And on the fire station lease,
Fire truck lease.
fire truck lease, thank you. It is at Primex to get the insurance certificate to go along with it.
Do you want to go through that with us now
Sure,
and
you can do that.
and knock this off of our agenda while you're sitting here?
So there's two separate votes I need, and I didn't realize to the end, and I think I dog-eared the pages, the form of resolution. You need to take a vote on, and it's approving basically Bob to sign the documents.
What are we approving?
That we're entering into a lease, that you have the authority to do so, and that we're a tax exempt organization. Basically, you're proving that you agree with the terms and conditions, even though you're gonna sign it in 10 other places.
So we've already basically done all of this. We've already approved the terms. We've already signed the lease agreement.
We haven't, you're touching it.
What did I sign a meeting or two ago?
The amounts.
Right, the authorization for the amount.
Okay.
Yeah, for that company to enter into a lease agreement on our behalf.
Okay.
Well, they didn't really enter into it, but negotiated.
So they've negotiated it,
And
and this is the
it.
final document.
Yeah.
The terms are unchanged. I'm
Right, because
hoping.
you did read this a couple weeks ago.
Yeah?
You had it, yeah.
Okay. So the terms are unchanged.
Yep. So Chris Morgan had highlighted all the places where I needed to put in information, so I've gone through and done that. And now, at the last meeting, you had me send it off to legal. Legal responded with one typo. They're gonna do their sheet after it's signed. And, because they do Exhibit F, opinion of leases council.
Well, I'll make a motion that we, that the Board of Selectmen authorize our chairman, Robert Murray, to sign the lease agreement as
Yeah.
presented.
I'll second.
Any further discussion?
Can I have a separate motion for the former resolution as well?
Yeah, let's get through this one first.
Okay.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, next. This is
A resolution.
what they call the closing memorandum. Is that what you pulled apart for me?
Yes. That is, this is so we could wire them the money, and they have the wire amount and the full price of the vehicle. So no, we're not signing that one. It's these 2 pages, the form of resolution.
So this is a resolution to enter into the lease agreement?
Yes.
That we've already agreed to.
Well, we've agreed to the overall terms, but this
Yeah.
is the actual lease agreement.
And this has been through legal as well?
They've been through the whole thing.
All right, I would look, since I'm the one signing, I'm not gonna make the motion, but I'll look for a motion.
Okay, I'll make a motion that we have our chairman sign the resolution to enter into the lease agreement as presented.
And I will second.
Any further discussion? All those in favor? Aye.
So you're gonna get a different payment schedule together for us, rather than the full price payment on one check,
There's not a need for us to wire,
any money?
transfer the money, no.
We already did send them
We
money.
sent them the deposit already. I felt like this was too wide open. Because it has to go through, a warrant article every year.
Right.
So I was really hesitant and recommend, you need the whole package. I was really hesitant on approving the whole amount, and the voters haven't really approved the whole amount. You know, even if they're gonna withdraw automatically. Which one is that? There were pages I thought you shouldn't sign. We're not doing self-insurance. That's legal's page. They'll do that once I send it back to them.
Oh, you missed one. No. No, the next page. There you go.
Oh, there it is.
Which one's that? Oh. Terrific, thank you. Fire department, thanks you.
Okay.
Edinburgh Times, the next article is due on Friday, October 4th. I think it's your turn.
Yeah, they're gonna get a one-liner. Nothing happened.
I love it.
The Tustin Borough Central Fire Station is hosting a flu clinic again on October 8th from 9 to 12. And I think that's about all I have from last meeting. Most of the people that have come through, I've worked with Steve on figuring things out or talked to different department heads.
So
And-
the next budget meeting isn't until the 1st of October.
It's the 17th, it's Tuesday night.
17th of October,
No, tomorrow, next week.
17th of September.
Yes.
Mon Dieu. All right. So we'll have all of our printouts ready for them.
Yes.
Okay.
And I have most of the nonprofit requests in. So
And
my goal this afternoon is to get all the budget sheets out to the department heads.
right, because we need to start getting some budgets
Yes.
in.
Yeah.
And little budgets we should be able to get in.
Right.
Well, we do most of those internally.
Are we doing anything with these nonprofits, the money that we're giving money to, about if they take money from the county and the town, or are we leaving that to the county? So they're
We
not.
have in the past done that on a couple of occasions. But when the county does it, it's cleaner. I mean, they shouldn't have to. I mean, I can understand them asking each of the towns to contribute.
Mm-hmm.
But then I can't understand them then going to the county to get them to contribute because
It's double dipping at that point. Correct.
I honestly don't have any idea how the commissioners deal with that. I know I dealt with it when I was a commissioner, but I don't know how they deal. And there are 3 open slots for commissioners. on the
Correct.
Ballot. So
Correct.
it's gonna be a whole new group.
Could be. Could be. Depending on how the vote goes. But we're gonna continue doing what we're doing.
I think so,
Okay.
unless you've got an alternative.
No, I just I feel like you do about double dipping. If they're asking the towns, they shouldn't be asking the county.
Right. I mean, we could put that in a letter with the check. I mean, that the taxpayers are giving you a
Right.
donation.
Right.
We're not gonna give you 2 donations, but it's really not our call.
No, I don't know how we manage that other than
We
simply
can't.
not giving them money.
I mean, we could send well, that's not an option, I don't think. I think we really do need to support the nonprofits, but we could send a letter to the county stating, oh, these are the people that we gave money to, but I don't know what would happen then.
No, but I think actually that's probably a good idea. Is send the commissioners, the county commissioners, a list of who we gave money to and how much we gave,
Right.
and then let them make the decision from there.
Yeah,
I think
Are
that's
they on the same kind of budget schedule?
yes.
yeah.
So the requests, that when you approve the request.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. We should notify the county commissioners.
Whoever they may be.
And
I
you-
spent time last week on the expenses with, again, Chris Morgan he had us really clean up the fire department where actuals went, so I think that's pretty straight. Cammie's researching a little bit of overtime that might have been in the wrong account, but I think the budget to actual you have is pretty clear.
And the income, did we get that? You and I chatted
Oh
about
yeah, the
that.
MS 434 was
Right.
submitted, and we still have the MS 1, which will be the end of the month.
But DRA was okay with the 434, or they had make changes?
They have not responded yet,
Ah,
Yeah.
okay.
so.
Right, because we should have, maybe on the 17th, an income report for the budget, or maybe not till October. It doesn't matter to me. I mean, he'd like to have reports every day of the week, but I don't know that the income report is going to be any helpful at all.
Well, it's gonna be similar to what I gave you,
Right.
and I had given him a draft for his last meeting, and he said he would like that, so,
Okay.
yeah, he'll have something. Do you have anything for me?
Are we doing
I don't think so.
selectmen?
Yeah, Selectmen's updates, sure.
Okay,
That's
that
nice.
was
Thank you.
one
That
thing.
yeah.
One thing that I did with Audrey was the income. Steve Scapiccio, we went through that. I had asked for a report on the abatements given to property owners resulting from the motocross track. And just for the public record, there has been an abatement total of $788,000 given to all the property owners affected by the racetrack. That reduced the town's tax receipts by just shy of $10,000. So we're having to raise $10,000 in money from other people in taxation to overcome the issue with the racetrack. And the Vittams pay virtually nothing because their land's in current use. So they're not offsetting that loss in tax revenue. So I'm just putting that out there.
I think it's a little more because that sheet from the assessor had 2 properties, a new house under construction and a demob. And so, like the demob, it wasn't a reduction of $346,000.
Right.
So I notated at the bottom, adding those 2 properties back in, because when a new house is built there, it's gonna have a value. So
And it's gonna get an abatement.
I felt like those 2,
So you're $1,248,000.
right,
Is-
I put those 2 properties back in because I felt that's
Okay.
not a realistic change as a result of the racetrack. So I think your tax impact is closer to the 9,000.
Right.
And also, since we're on this discussion, I don't believe that the selectmen as a whole, as a board, would have given these abatements had the BTLA not come to their decision.
And these aren't actually abatements, they're a change in the assessed value.
Change in assessed value, correct. However, they got there. The BTLA is a state entity. It's a judicial board. They made their decision based on the evidence that was presented, and I personally don't feel that the town was represented effectively. I think the town could have been represented in that case better. But that being said, the BTLA made the decision, and we were forced, it's not our decision, to change these property values accordingly. That's my humble opinion.
Well, that's all I had.
Okay. I don't have anything to input. I haven't had any meetings since our last Selectmen's meeting.
As you know, I was approached by Karen Koretsky about an issue in her area about a potential wedding venue in that area.
Where is it?
Uh,
I'm sorry.
Sorry.
Brown?
What is it?
Hadley
Was it
property.
Brown?
Brown.
Hadley property.
Okay.
Um,
That didn't sell. did it?
so the long and the short of it is that somebody that a relative of the owner of the property that would be considered for a wedding venue put up an advertisement via a web page for the property that kind of got Karen concerned. I was able to do some research and find out that that is really not far along in the works at all. It's not been to planning or zoning, and indeed the owner does not have any hard plans for making that venue work at this point. And so I just wanted to let you both know that I've spoken to Karen and given her this information to kind of allay her fears.
So her concern was a valid concern, but it turns out that it's a non-issue
Correct.
and has been investigated by the code officer.
Yes, the code officer is more than aware of it, as well as the planning board, who has not had any submission with regard to that property, and therefore there's no move forward because there isn't a plan in place. So
Okay.
it's really a non-issue, but I did want to just make you aware that was a concern.
So did that sell, the Hadley property?
It's for sale right now.
Okay. Just wondered.
That's it.
That's it. Okay. Is there any other business?
Well, didn't you have anything, Bob?
No.
Oh. Okay. And there's
missed-
no other business.
You missed that part.
I did. I was reading.
And I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
I will make the motion to adjourn this meeting.
I'll second. All those in favor?
I
Aye.
Bye.
or we.